because this is the type of stuff that I did that helped me to realize that again, there's only two reasons. And guess what? What we're doing does not require so-called, it doesn't even matter if you actually work for the government. It doesn't even matter if you don't have to
I
correct your
understand
status.
it.
It doesn't matter what your status is. You can even work for the government because that doesn't mean that they control your life 24 hours a day. You're not at work. And when you
So
go
that's
to
the whole,
when
and
you
like,
ticket, that's your defense.
is
Welcome
it not?
everyone to today's live. Today is allegedly the 7th day of the 2nd month, year of our Lord, 2023. And we're gathered here today, as usual, for Bible study. Just like last Thursday, when I first heard about this fiasco about women facing felonies being allegedly myself, we're going to continue our conversation about why these agents in agency are not even supposed to be talking to us outside of an emergency or an actual injured party, aka corpus delicti. So in the middle, now we're in the middle of our series, and it seems as if we have an opportunity to apply what we've been going over. Some of us are learning, some of us are unlearning. Some of us are strengthening our comprehension in this series. But what better chance and opportunity to practice what we've been going over than by having an actual situation?
An experiment.
An experiment. Don't you guys love experiments? Because aren't we
yes,
scientists after all?
yes.
We are observing, we are testing, we're getting results, we're analyzing those results, we're rearranging our approach, and we're applying, right? Someone's posted today that they are experiencing some mental exhaustion. And I'd like to speak on that for a second because, of course, I'm thinking to myself, someone is claiming to feel mental exhaustion, and I'm not taking away from their feeling. I'm not discrediting or disparaging that they have their feeling. But imagine having that feeling and you don't have a website to run. You don't have 2,000 people that you're managing. You don't have any templates that you're writing. You don't have any cases you're helping people to write. You're not reviewing anyone's writing. You're not hosting any classes. And yet you're feeling mentally exhausted. I say that to say that a lot of people who feel frustration, mental exhaustion, or any feelings that are negative about what this process is that we're doing, I know it sounds crazy, right? But you might actually not be doing enough. Maybe you need to help somebody else write their case. Maybe you need to help somebody review what they've already written, even if it's just for grammatical errors, etc. Maybe you do need to start a study group so that you can have a support system of people going through certain pieces of information with you, because this shit is not difficult. Once you get over your ego of shouldn't have to learn anything. I shouldn't ever have to know the law. Everyone around me should just do everything perfectly right. Duh. They should never step out of line because I should never have the opportunity to straighten someone's steps or to correct someone. I should never have to do that. Everybody should just be adulting and self-governing, and I should just be able to float through life and never have to have anybody test my gangster. Woe is me. I have to stand up for myself. Once we get over that, you realize that if there's only two reasons that agents and agency can even open their mouth and push air in your direction, and I've been saying this for a while, but I don't know if it sounds too simple or goes over people's heads. I don't know which one it is. What do you guys think? Is it that it is too easy? It's too simple, I should say, because it's not easy necessarily. It's simple. Is it too
Yeah, I think it
simple,
sounds too
Yeah.
simple.
or is it going
Yeah.
over people's head?
Too simple.
No,
Indeed.
it's trying to deal with what's already been placed in your head. So the unlearning part. So it's
Mm.
simple what you're saying, but to say to myself, "Oh my goodness, not only is it this easy, but how do I not bring those other thoughts that I've been taught. And during the unlearning, if you've messed with other gurus saying, how do I get rid of all of that? And I stay focused and just do this one thing.
And also,
Thank you
I
for
mean,
that.
yeah, I think it, but I mean, it is very simple in concept, and I've been saying it for a long time also, just like, but the problem is that other people, as like the young lady was just mentioning that, that other people and their indoctrination is the hardest part to get past, from my opinion. Like, I mean, it's easy to understand, like, hey, because it's just been simple, like, who are you? We're created equally. Like, who are you to tell me anything to do or how to
Yeah,
do it or
there's
when to
only
do it?
one acceptable answer to that. I gave you permission to
Right.
tell me what to do.
Right,
Right.
exactly. So, but then to tell the people that who assume that they can just tell you what to do, that, hey, no, you don't really have the right to do this, trying to get them to accept that is the
Yeah,
hardest
you
part of
don't
it
have to
all.
get them to accept it. You don't have to get them to accept it, because if they're accepting a paycheck and their paycheck is tied to a statute or code that says you're only supposed to be talking to people who are in this class of person, they don't
Mhm.
have to accept it. They could quit.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
they
They're
don't
still gonna
have to
violate
accept
you.
it, but you have to accept them not accepting it because they're going to violate you.
Perhaps they
Well,
will,
Right.
especially if they're not put on notice, right? They get to
right.
claim, I'm acting in good faith. I didn't know I was breaking the Constitution I took an oath to uphold last week, or last month,
Well,
last year, 2 years ago, 10 years ago,
20 years ago.
20 years ago, right? I've been doing this for, like, the guy told my mom, I've been doing this for 15 years. And then we were like, you've been violating people's rights for years. Are you bragging, dummy? Or
Well,
are
you
you
know
just
what,
confessing?
Malika, it was like we were talking the other day. A silver bullet is the good faith to take it away, like you've said all along. And that's the trick. I think what all these people that were just talking were basically trying to figure out, what is it that we need to say to ensure that we have taken away the good faith? Because I think, based on this situation and then the house situation, two different situations, right? And on the house situation, I was really, really good about taking away the good faith. And then I think that's what it is, because what are all the ingredients to that? Is it bringing in so many different public servants? Is it telling them everything about their job and what the Constitution says? I think part of it is what you're doing here with this notice.
Yes. How you guys like my notice I wrote to the judges? Love it. Love what's
Awesome.
right here. Okay, so we're gonna go over a little bit about the court's jurisdiction. I hope everybody has pulled up their local state jurisdiction, but not just the local state's jurisdiction. When you search court jurisdiction in all of the United States code, like you go 1 USC 1 court jurisdiction, 2 USC court jurisdiction, 3, or just court jurisdiction United States code, and just see the different jurisdictions that come up. Because this is the type of stuff that I did that helped me to realize that, again, there's only two reasons. Two reasons. And guess what? What we're doing does not require so-called, it doesn't matter what your status is. It doesn't even matter if you actually work for the government. Who understands that? Who understands that? It doesn't even matter if you don't have to
I
correct your
understand
status.
it.
You don't have to correct no kind of status. It doesn't matter what your status is.
I get it.
You can even work for the government, because that doesn't mean that they control your life 24 hours a day. If it's on the weekend and you are a bus driver and the deputy sheriff pulls you over and you're not at work. And when you
So
go
that's
to
the whole,
when
and
you
like,
ticket, that's your defense, is it not?
Correct.
so
They give
that's
you
kind
those
of like
fake
the whole
promissory
NREM
notes
thing.
anyway. The promissory notes are fake anyway.
Right?
So your NREM thing, the property, I
Yes.
mean, like, no matter where you are, if you're not at work and it's not, and even if it's not about that thing that
Yes.
we're being called into the arena for, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because what does my driver's license matter if I'm not operating under it at the time that you came to gave me the ticket? If I'm the city bus driver, my driver's license only matters while I'm on the city bus. It doesn't matter when I'm in my Subaru, right? My hatchback, right? It doesn't apply. And we have all of these jumbled things in our mind because we think still in our hearts that there is something that makes another man or woman have authority over us other than our express consent. I'm going to say that again. In our hearts and in our minds, generally, not mine particularly, we still feel that there is a reason that another man or woman can instruct our steps. There is, unless you are actually a slave, you have to have given them express written consent. It does not make any sense for anything else to happen. Because I'm trying to show everybody that you do not need to learn more. What I'm showing you is this is common sense. The only reason your mother and father could tell you what to do is what?
Because they brought you in this joint.
Hello. Now, who has that same authority outside of your mother and father?
Absolutely no one.
I think some people is going to be lying. Let's see, because some
Someone.
people is going to say, my boss, the president of the United States, the governor, someone. And if they might not say it with their mouth, but they're going to be saying with what?
Going in.
What they're doing, their actions. You're going to say, oh, you're not the boss of me. And then your actions are going
Show
to
up.
say, somebody is the boss of you. So we're going to watch this here. Some of you, I can't watch it enough. I don't know about everybody else, but I cannot watch this enough. To me, this is like the best video on the internet. And anybody who's trying to tell you that you have to be some special status, this judge tells you they lying.
Can you put the link in the chat?
Sure, we're going to put the link in the chat. I'm glad y'all laughing because this shit is stupid. It's so dumb that we have to, and then all type of contortions that people out here trying to get you to do. And the only
got your
status that needs to be
DBA?
corrected is in your head. If they not your mama, they're not your dad. They're not even your uncle or your auntie or your grandma that brought your mom and dad into the world, right? That brought you, like, and then we like to make excuses, but they made me afraid, Malika. They made me scared. They threatened to take my children. They threatened to cage my body. Well, that's all the more reason to ask them, by what authority can you do that? And we out here like, well, they showed me some words written on a paper by a guy. They called it a statute. But how does the existence of that statute automatically mean it's applicable to myself?
Comply, slave.
Imply. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to share sound and we're going to hit play. We're going to go back 5 seconds. Here we go.
State your name for the record, please.
Islam, self-law and master, and proper persona, sojourn, heritage, the land.
Ma'am, I
Yeah,
said
now
state
you
your
go.
I said state your name.
I will state for this X-rail.
Ma'am, listen, let me say this to you.
This
Let me say
trade
this.
name,
Ma'am,
this
let me
trade
say
name.
this. If you did not come to court, if you didn't come to court to participate in court, please don't come back to my courtroom. So I've muted you, so therefore we can't even hear what you're saying. So let me be clear.
No
If
turban
you
on her
have
head.
not come to court, because let me just be clear here. Okay. Well, you have a great
Not
day.
even L or Bay.
Have a great day.
What?
If
tight
I
as
didn't
fuck.
think someone had jurisdiction over me, I promise you, I would not even get out of my bed. I promise you. Let me say this. If a person did not have jurisdiction over me, if I believed that a person, that an entity did not have jurisdiction over me, I promise you, I would not get up out of my bed. I would not take a time off of work. I would not stop anything that I was doing for that day to come to court to say these things. Number one, you know it's going to get you nowhere.
Okay, so when other gurus are telling us that you should go to court and then say this and say that and do this and do that, Did they miss the part? Did they miss what this judge just said?
Yes.
Sure did.
Yes.
How can you get over this? How could you get over what she just said? Why do you think every other judge is not thinking the exact same thing?
And this is a Zoom call for one thing, so you have no control. They can mute you at any time. That's not like walking in there and bringing full equity and knowing what you're doing. This Zoom call, you cannot. They'll mute you if you get out of line if they don't like
Because
what you
this
hear.
is not the time and the place to have the conversation this woman wants to have.
Right. Right.
That's
That's
why I
not the
said
time
when
and
I
place to have it.
interrupted.
I'm not
Two-
gonna show up based on your invitation and then argue that I wasn't supposed to be there.
It's too late to talk about diction at this point. Jurist has
Dic-
already
can-
been made.
Does anybody think this judge lied? Who thinks
No.
this
No.
judge is lying?
No.
Anybody? Let me
It's-
see in the chat. Because
it's-
we don't have to be,
is-
we're being
is
accused of being a
lying.
cult because we agree
Right.
on simple principles, apparently.
I bet she's lying because then that would suggest that she's never once pulled out a bench warrant. If she can prove,
But
she
that's
never
not
pulled a
true.
bench
That's
warrant-
not true. Bench warrants are for agents.
Yeah, sure they are, but doesn't mean she hasn't filled them out for people who weren't agents.
But you don't know she did that. We
I
don't
could-
know.
would
I mean,
bet-
you guys
would
can
bet-
go
I
and
bet-
look.
I bet you $100
He's
bucks.
definitely done that.
Because if this lady showed up instead of doing, because if they are like, our people like to argue, oh, the all caps name is not you. It's not your name is not you. That's a stupid thing to say. No one's name is them. Okay. So when people try to act like it's not your name, that's a stupid thing to do. It's just dumb.
Showing up
Because
admits to
apparently they are.
jurisdiction.
You have to clarify, are you attempting to communicate with me through this name?
And
Is
the
that what
bench-
you're attempting to do? Communicate? Because if you're attempting to communicate with Malika, right?
And the bench warrants frisbee. She's just throwing a frisbee out there to see who's catching it.
Yeah. Are you going to write her back? Let me show you what I wrote the judge. Let me show you what I wrote the judge. This is a one-page document. As you see, the only reason there's a second page is because Sonny put the email addresses I had to send it to. Okay. This is what I wrote the judge. Notice intent to prosecute. I was considering what I'm going to call it. I didn't know. I was just going to leave it as notice. Then I was going to say something else, but I just called it intent to prosecute. Excuse me. Because I'm not playing no games. I'm not timid. I'm not afraid. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know where I am, and I know why I'm here. And if you're feeling any type of trepidation about communicating with these people, it might be because you don't know one or more of those things. You don't know who you are, whose you are, where you are, and why you're here. I'm very clear. So I intend to prosecute anyone in my way. So these are the fools right here. This is the case. This is the name they put on the case. I don't care what the name is. I don't care if it's all caps. I don't care if it's all lowercase. I don't care if it's middle initial. I don't care if it doesn't look like mine. I don't care. They are attempting to use it to communicate with me. And how do I know that? Because they sent me shit to where I receive mail. Okay? So they're attempting to communicate with me, even if they might use a name that's only similar to mine. I'm not going to be stupid and be like, well, they're obviously not talking to me. My calling is this. This communication is supported by, and I put my redress number from the Department of Homeland Security because I have an apology for mistaken identity directly from the Department of Homeland Security already. Many of you on here have seen it. All I did was open it up. It's right here. This is me sending it to my mom and my sister. It's almost 2 years old. And I'm about to use it again. See right here where the United States government says we've completed our review of your case. Your experience is most likely caused by misidentification against a government record. You misidentified me based on your bullshit record, and now you're apologizing. We regret the Thank you. How do I get this? Because I sued the TSA. Your gurus ain't out here showing you how to sue the TSA. They're not showing you how to sue judges. They're not showing you how to sue the state because they don't know how to do anything except fill out this next IRS form. They told this lady They told this lady to show her birth certificate. What the hell kind of nonsense is that? I'm
Super
not showing them my
nonsense.
birth
Malika,
certificate.
I told you, hey Malika, when I told you that what they did, what we did to them when they used to do that stuff to us in court.
What's that?
We asked for a remand automatically because you're at that point they considered you a flight risk.
What are you talking about?
One, it's DA's office. When people put their birth certificates on a
Oh, when
stand,
people put their birth certificates on the,
they will automatically ask for a remand because they would say that this individual is a flight risk.
they're a flight risk. How automatically that is to make you? How does it make
That's
you a
it.
flight
Now,
risk?
whether their logic is correct or incorrect, that was what the protocol was.
Right, I totally get it, but I'm curious as to why that would be. Why would that make you a flight risk?
Meaning that
That's
your
what they
ass
said.
is not gonna show up to court if you
Right,
really
they would
know
say
what you're
you're not-
doing.
Oh,
you
I
can
put my
this shit on
my
record.
birth certificate on record, so I am not gonna show up. I put my private business on nobody record. I put my private business on nobody public record.
You're
will
supposed to
say, when I
charge.
did a
You're supposed
records
to charge the
correction
birth
about 8 years
certificate.
ago,
You charge the exemption. Well, Lika, what is you talking about?
No, I think you charging me. I think you are charging me according to my calling. That's what I think.
I will say that when I did a records correction about 8 years ago and sent it out to like a Supreme Court, Pentagon, Department of Defense, and all these other different things, I actually got a correspondence back, never sent to Ogden, Utah. Got a correspondence from Ogden, Utah, saying that we received your documentation or whatever X, Y, and Z. So I will say, in lieu
But
of that, I think this is what
that's
you're saying
CID.
here.
That's
When correct,
investigations. That's criminal investigation division.
correct. When I sent to these like 7 or 8 different locations, I got something back 8 years ago that was basically saying like, okay, we see exactly what you're saying, and anything is. It was not. They didn't give a redress number, but they basically made sure that it was documented. Pentagon, I guess, Secret Service, all that stuff. So that's why I was like, with what you're mentioning, even right now, it is definitely in the lieu of records correction. Like the same principle is correcting the record. So this is really spot on.
All you gotta do is sue them, guys. It's real easy. You use the Tort Claims Act, the Federal Tort Claims Act, and you will get a similar letter. See how they this is my full name, not a government name, my mama and daddy name. Okay? They apologized. We regret the inconvenience for the few. We've corrected our record. See? We have made updates to our records that may
Yeah.
assist in avoiding future incidents of misidentification. That's why that's there. Okay, so he could call the Homeland Security and get what is on the record if he wishes, or she wishes. So pray for them. Okay, one is receiving this communication because I have read a slanderous story about a woman facing felonies charged by the state of Washington. I'm gonna move Lawler because I'm addressing to both of them in one. No
Like
or
Jerry the
should
King
know.
Lawler?
No or should know. Somebody say I should take away the should know. No, I'm going to say that. No or should know. That authority of a man or entity, listen very carefully, is only over what he creates, what he or it creates. Your
Already.
Eden
authority
versus Neil.
is only over what he or it creates. Does that make common sense to you guys?
Eden versus Neil. like
Authority
Brother
of a
Harlan
man
said.
or entity is only over what he or it creates. This is
Who's your
common
daddy?
sense.
Who's your
This
daddy?
is natural law. This is not something you have to go and read 10,000 of anything. You just have to sit with yourself and realize what's nonsense. Okay? And once created, authority to control by another is only by express written consent of the creator. Is everybody with me still so far?
So go to
Yes.
the principal's
Yeah,
office.
yes.
We
Go
didn't
to
make it to
principal's
the
office.
Constitution. We didn't make it to the Declaration of Independence. We didn't even
Mm.
have to open up the Bible. We just here at plain old, do you have a working brain? Do you comprehend simple? Is this a sovereign citizen statement?
So I don't need a guru? I don't need a guru?
You might need to still send me 8,000 doll hairs though. You know, if anybody's feeling extra generous and just got it laying around.
That's
The
my
answer is
girl.
no,
That's my girl.
because if people were really on some I, self, law, and master, they'll recognize that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So who do you really need outside of yourself except someone who's competent to show you like, hey, this is what I did. Oh, those are your footprints. Now let me make my own without you
Okay,
carrying.
yeah. So look, is this something anybody just learned today? Or is this something you knew from before you were born?
Life
Yep,
principles.
no.
Is this new to anybody? Authority of a man or entity is only over what he or it creates. And once created, authority to control by another is only by express written consent of the creator. Is this brand new, never heard before? Someone said sovereign citizen. So
No. Came in
So-
by myself and I'm gonna leave by myself. I don't need no help.
All you're
Right.
saying is, all you're saying
Right.
is it's self-evident that we're all men are created equal. That's what it sounds like to me. You're just
Yeah,
saying
you
yeah,
don't-
so- because all men are not, that's obviously they're not created equal. Some of us came knowing who we are, whose we are, where we are, and why we're here. And others are like, what the fuck?
that doesn't give you control over others, though.
It doesn't. And let me tell you,
Right.
that's why I stopped marketing. That's why I closed down my marketing business, because my job was to make you want things that you don't need and make you do things that you would not choose. That's what marketing does. That's what it is. That's why they paid me the big bucks. My job
Well-
was to identify your desires and exploit you. Who prefers what I'm doing now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Okay. So I hope this is not news to anybody, but it's okay if it's news. It's okay if you didn't know that once a thing is created, the authority to control it is only by express written consent of the creator.
That would be hard for me to accept somebody going, oh, I just learned that today, when we know if it's not your mom, your mother, or your father telling you to do something, you know, we should be shouting stranger danger.
Yeah,
So,
well, this is why people like always tell me that they like how I teach, because I'm not actually teaching them. They feel like they already know it. Why? Because you know this. You already know it.
yeah, it's
Okay.
common sense.
This is why every time I ask these gurus questions about why are we doing XYZ, and they start going off on some birth certificate babe bullshit, I'm like, oh my, no, come on. All right, so come along with me now. Therefore, if Malika Duke is state of Washington's person, y'all should already know what's coming. Then you don't have any duty to act. And you concede, I should say you, because I'm talking to more than one of them. You concede that it cannot be associated with me in reality. Okay? Everybody get this? If this is the state of Washington's person, then you, I'm talking to two of them, have no duty to act. And you concede that it cannot be associated with me in reality because it's Washington's own, right? It's the state of, it's theirs. I don't care what you do, it's not associated with me in reality if it's yours. However, if this is my person, and since slavery and involuntary servitude is illegal and unlawful, right? If it's my person, because you don't have to do nothing if it's not my person. But you concede it don't have anything to do with me. But if it's mine, right? And I ain't your slave, I need you to provide me the lawfully promulgated record that consented for Malika Duke to be sued in this forum, qualified as a statutory party to this taxable transaction, and is bound to judgments, orders of this administrative tribunal within 72 hours of this notice. Because it should be quick and easy, right? If it should be a quick and easy thing, correct?
Absolutely.
The record does not reflect. Where that? Where that?
Where
Malika,
is it?
a question.
Sure.
So, what do you suggest if, I know maybe other people are thinking this, but if we don't have a redress control number,
Just go like this
I
and
was
click
thinking that.
the delete button or the backspace button.
it just looks more powerful when you have that though.
I feel so bad I even added this in because I added it in right before I went to sleep. And I'm very sad that that's the shit y'all want to focus on.
No. I just, I
Yes,
just,
yes, yes. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
Let's focus
yes,
on
yes,
what
yes.
I don't have. Let's focus on why I'm not taking action with what I do have.
That redress control number is not Malika's as much as it is that organization's way of documenting that they should not be fucking
Exactly.
talking to her.
Exactly.
If
They
you
keep
want
the
a
records
redress
for them.
number, just sue the TSA. It's not hard to sue them. Just pull out the last ticket stub. I don't know about y'all, but I keep mine, all of them, and just
The
say they
receipts, we don't
violated
have-
your rights for demanding you to show identification without there being a warrant or suspicion that you were committing a crime. Because that is what asking you to identify yourself before exercising a right is doing. They're saying, you fucking criminal, show me your papers. Y'all should be
This is what
offended. But instead, everybody's like, let me
where's the
get the
copy of the receipt?
5-star
Where's my receipt?
whatever
That's what Malika's
stamp.
saying. Where's my
Give me
receipt?
my-
Y'all got to make it simple. Where is my receipt? You saying I bought this?
Yeah,
Where's my receipt?
that's it. Highlight it, hit delete, focusing on what you don't have.
We're talking about tailor-mades. I mean, there's dress right there. There's washing clothing in Washington.
You can put right here, this communication is supported by the supreme ruler of the universe. Is that not more powerful than a redress number?
There you go.
Yeah.
777.
I'm going to change it. Y'all want me to do that? Because I swear to
9311.
God, it's going to work the same. If I put this communication is supported by the supreme ruler, the whole world, and all that is. Put that instead. You don't have a redress number, like lowly me, slave, you come in by the command of God.
To adhere to that redress number, you're just leaning on another artificial enforcement. That's all.
And I was going to delete it. Because like I said, I just put it in there at the end. And you know why I was going to delete it? Because I didn't want to make my font 4 font like Bobby B. Okay. This is what's important. If it's mine, and I'm not a slave, I must have given you consent to use it. So show me it in 72 hours. I could say in 48 hours. I could say 24 hours. I could say right now, because my lawsuit is also already written right here.
There's a
It's
book by
long.
Eastman that says, "Are you my mama?" It's a
I know,
children's-
right? That's all you
Are
need to
you
write
my
on
mama?
paper. Is you my mama or
And
my
you're
dad?
not the mommy. Not the mommy from the dinosaurs. You're not the
That's
mommy.
why I always start there. Thank you.
Not the mama. Not the mama. Not the mama.
They make fun of us when they make shows like that and make the babies the smartest one. Y'all ever notice that? They make the babies always the smart one in those shows. In The Simpsons, the baby didn't even talk and she was the smartest one.
Just sucking on the
Yeah.
pacifier. Just sucking on the pacifier.
Yep, that's her whole life on the show. And she the smartest one. Since one is alleged to be, it's y'all. Should I put you all?
Y'all. All
Since
y'all. I put
y'all-
all y'all. All y'all.
Since you allege to act as a judge in this case, one knows or is bound to know that the state administrative agencies only have personal and subject matter jurisdiction over public administrators, their agents, contractors, or licensees while engaged in interstate, intrastate, or foreign commerce. How many books we had to read?
I like that part.
Even your
know
mama,
just this
even
one
the baby
sentence.
know who the mom is. Even the baby knows not the mom.
The baby know. The baby know who the mom is.
Just can smell the mama.
Because remember what I said, you can control what you made, right? The state made their agents. They describe the job, right? They hire you,
Uh.
clothe you, they house you, right? They're your mama.
Excuse me, sir. You need to control your shadow. It's throwing shade on me, please.
Yes. So again, this is easy to verify. This is what we've been going through, right? An act to permit states to extend their sales, use, and income taxes to persons residing or carrying on business or transactions occurring where?
Federal areas.
Federal
Oh.
areas.
That, I mean, this is why you sometimes hear me say, we'll go through all of this, like see all these pages, right? But you don't just take all of it like this and put it in your documents. Your documents are going to be huge. You have to take your comprehension.
That's what she said. That's what she said. Is that a legal document in your pocket? Or you just happy to see me.
That's what we need to ask these tow truck drivers when they come try to remove our property from our property, right?
Is
Is
that
that
a
a legal
scroll?
document you have in your pocket, or are you just excited to see me?
Is that a scroll?
It better be a scroll on a roll.
That's all the volumes of jurisprudence in your pants.
Yeah, keep it there and only
Keep it there.
release the essence.
Right. That's right.
Scroll on a roll. Isn't that toilet paper?
It is. That's what the TB scare was all about.
So
Don't touch me
again,
with that. Don't touch me.
y'all see that's the end of the document already. That's the end,
No crossing swords.
okay? Unless there is documentary evidence of these prerequisites on and for the record, your order and subsequent warrant is not only void, but evidence of your incompetence, negligence, criminality, or all three.
If this
I'm
is like a
just gonna
rap
put it-
battle,
Keep it 100.
It is a.
rap battle, this is what
It is.
You're not gonna
It
get
is.
me with a banana in the tailpipe. You're not gonna get me with the banana in the tailpipe.
It is a rap. It is a rap battle
Banana
because it's
in the
scat.
tailpipe.
It's called scatology. Scansion. They're scanning.
Right.
Latin scansion is scanning the meter of the words and then the sentence. So they're scanning what you're telling them. And if it doesn't match up to your poetic license, you're falling for their language. So you need to take poetic license and do your own language and not fall for their scatology.
Word.
Got you.
Should you fail to discharge this case sua sponte pursuant to the due process requirements of the Constitution of the United States, the state of Washington, 28 USC 455, or I got to show y'all this section. It's so funny because we don't know if the judges are doing this. We don't know. I
You
got
said
some good
oof.
stuff.
You said oof.
Yeah. You see right here? Discharge of defendant. For what reason? For what reason?
Frivolous
Frivolous.
complaint.
Sticking and screaming like a child.
So could they not have done this? If it should appear upon the whole examination that no offense has been committed or that there is no probable cause for charging the defendant with an offense, he or she shall be discharged. And if
Man, that's
in
for
the
every
opinion
fucking-
of the magistrate, the complaint was malicious or without probable cause, and there is no reasonable grounds, therefore, the cost shall be taxed against the party making the complaint.
That's every
optional, though.
event. Every
my daddy's
event
records?
without a victim.
And when they mention tax, the only thing that's taxable is business. So it has to be
Exactly.
something in business.
Exactly. That interstate and foreign commerce clause biting them in the ass over and over again. And you got some guru out here telling you that what you got to do is authenticate your birth certificate and fill out a 1099 A, B, and C.
Who got my daddy's record?
See, they could have dismissed it on their own because it was frivolous. But no, they want to go and administrate. If should you fail, okay, to discharge, prepare to be
Mhm.
prosecuted administratively, criminally,
Complaint.
in law and equity in federal court for trespass by way of one or more of the following. Of course, you could put whatever you want. Okay, you guys can add whatever you want: kidnapping, unlawful taking, forgery, everything that's involved. Because that's all I did. So I have deprivation of rights under color of law, warring against the Constitution of the United States and the state, crimes against public administration, invasion of privacy, inland piracy, fictitious obligations, legal simulation or simulation of legal process, peonage, impersonating a public servant, abuse or malfeasance of office, abuse of process, and since this dirty deed involved at least one other municipal or state contractor, conspiracy to defraud the United States, misprision of office, deceptive business practices, aiding and abetting, and attempted monopoly.
Dirty
Well, in other
deeds,
words, I pity
done
the
dirt
food.
cheap.
I pity the food.
Right.
Dirty deeds.
Govern yourself accordingly.
So they're trying to administer. You see, administer. They're trying to add ministry to her when she didn't ask for some kind of religious belief to be bestowed upon her.
Maybe
that's
I
what they
did.
do.
I might be lying. So just show it to me.
Malika,
Right.
can I ask you a question? Are you gonna put a copy of your federal case with this when you send it? Or at
I
least the
was
first
thinking to
page?
do that since it's already written, and I am going to send it by email, but maybe I could send it after the 72 hours.
Oh, do it. That's nice.
Yeah.
That RCW 1016-080, by saying it's supposed to tax whoever basically did that improperly. And it's also an admission to human trafficking and racketeering.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's why
because
they didn't do it. So they
well, the,
committed more human trafficking.
His
Mhm.
name was Rico.
well, that's what the perv
Michelle,
means.
are you sending it privately or you putting it
Yes,
on the
I'm
record?
literally
Okay.
emailing it to the email that you see there on the bottom. That's the reason it's even making it 2 pages. So this is going to go to their emails.
So the perv breaks down in many, many different ways. But
And those are the attorneys, right?
These are the judges.
How did you get the email?
All judges' emails are online. Sonny just
Oh,
got told by the secretary, the judicial assistant of the federal judge, because she attached. No, it wasn't even federal judge. He's just the court, the local court. And the judicial assistant's like, don't you ever email a judge directly. Bitch, they information online. Calm the fuck down. It's
Don't
right
you
there.
Man,
ever.
I
I
can't
don't have to
find
talk to
some of
you.
mine. I be trying too.
It's online.
also, I couldn't find it.
You gotta read
Farm
about
members, you can also get
It's
their
private. And I was like, how is it private if this is a public courthouse?
if some of the
Well,
judges were bar members, I just looked on the bar website and just emailed it to their bar email.
Well, there
yeah,
you go.
the clerk specifically told me that the contract administrator who I served or who I gave notice to had no email through the court, but she's clear to say through the court, but she didn't say anything about his name as being an email, him having an email.
And their email's not hard to figure out if you know their name. She apparently just got married, so she just became a Jaeger, and she's
Yeah.
very eager.
Jägermeister.
Yeah. Look, I moved up the email and it made it back to 1 page. So this is my 1 page that I created from all of these notes because my comprehension, it says right there, we make laws for the government. Before a court can examine power over a party, the United States Constitution requires that the party has certain minimum contacts with the forum state. This minimum contact is that express written consent with the forum in which the court sits. And this is funny because I didn't read this case, so I don't know if it's just another man named Washington or if it's like Washington, a company, or Washington, the state. I don't know.
Washington the George. No, okay, I'll show.
And Washington, the George. Okay, so let's come back to our United States Code jurisdiction search because that's all I kept writing. Jurisdiction of. So United States Code jurisdiction of. They will tell you the jurisdiction of Title 15 is to enforce those foreign trade and commerce, antitrust laws, etc., that are between sections 15(1) to 7. You see right here again, any such suit or action may be brought in the district wherein the defendant is found or is an inhabitant, registered through the census, by the way, enumerated through the census is what an inhabitant is, or transacts business, or where the sale took place. Hello?
Another oversought activity pertaining to the Secretary of Commerce.
Yes, pertaining to the Secretary of Commerce at all times, because that's all that they can have authority over. And that's why I made sure that I let them know. I know that this is a taxable transaction.
Now you know that I know that you know that you've been told. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said, you trying to engage me in this tax transaction?
Transaction.
When you're floating persons, there's 5 major things of per, and that's to be in front of or before, first, chief, and against. You're with those people as you float a son out there, prodigal son. They mimic and mock the prodigal son coming paying for our debts. The second one is to lead or pass over. The third one is to strike or take a risk or future gamble. The fourth one is to strike. The fifth one is to traffic in or to sell. So you're literally selling sons and daughters as you put those religious
Tax
rights out there.
transaction.
Yeah, goes to transactions too. But the two major words associated with per is appraise, which is to set a value on, and to appreciate, to esteem or value highly. So you're saying this is your church, this is your house, and that vicar, that pope, speaks for you while you do these things by the Son.
I hope you guys are enjoying this call.
I'm not a person or per daughter.
Yeah.
Hey,
Do you have a link to your all your notes there? The whole world. I just want the whole world, and you just do it all for me.
I keep telling y'all, you have to take your own notes. This stuff is not going to stick with you if you just have access to my notes. That's why I'm telling you exactly how I'm searching it. I'm telling you, I went to my favorite search engine and I typed in jurisdiction of, and I put the word that's it. United States Code, jurisdiction of, or you can even put jurisdiction of courts, the whole thing. This is what I did. And I just started from the first one that came up. First one, second one, third one, fourth one, jurisdiction of courts. Again, these chapters are telling you. And the reason why it's Title 12 and Title 15 is because this is foreign trade and commerce, and this is banks and banking, and that's
Power,
what they're doing in the courthouse.
power, the power of the 369.
Well,
Right.
actually, the word bank comes from the word bench, and the
And he
justice
calls it a bench warrant.
and
They
it
call
sits
it
on
a
the
bench, right? They call it a
It's on the
bench
bank.
warrant, and he put a dollar amount on it.
Yes, it's from the Latin BANC, bunk.
Bunco. Bunco. Have you ever heard anybody use the term bunco?
I've heard of bonkers,
Yeah, no.
bonkers,
When they,
bonkers.
when they say this is bonkers or this is bunco, this is bunk.
Yes. Okay. So here we are, jurisdictional courts, limitations. You start to see certain patterns, right? They tell you the defendant has to be transacting business, making sales. This is what they're accusing me of. And this is what they're accusing you of. When they're charging you child support, they're accusing you of this. When they're charging you child custody, they're accusing you of this. When they're charging you for a traffic ticket, they're accusing you of this. When
So they're
when
going
they
back.
come to do a foreclosure on you, they're accusing you of this. When they come to do an eviction out of an apartment, this is it. That. It don't matter what people be like. Well, what was the charge? Engaging in commerce. What are they suing you for? It's the same shit because that's all they have. They're saying I'm a bad mom, blah blah blah. No, they're not. They're saying you were doing whatever while you were engaged in interstate and foreign commerce.
So the cops were at my house a month or more ago, and the cop was I was out there telling him to get off the property because it was in public property, and I asked him to prove on the record under pains and penalty of perjury that this was county property. But then the commanding officer that came out asked his officers, like, is there a crime happening? I said, no, because there's nothing commercial happening here. So you all need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Pack their bags and roll out.
Bam.
Excuse me. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. This is Prince Asheen. Now I'm trying to get my concepts together. So if you own a property and you have a property, if you're renting out apartment on that property or a house on that property, that falls under commerce.
The word property
Are
falls under
you a business
taxation.
registered with the state?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
So am I still allowed to rent out to other individuals?
I don't know.
I get the
Is it
proper
the
question.
state's business you do or not?
What's that again?
Is it the state's business whether you do or not?
No, it's not. As that's the way I
Okay.
look at it. It's not. Okay.
That's always what you have to be asking yourself. Is it the
So
state's
then-
business, not whether or not you can or cannot?
The proper question would be, is it okay with me and my savior if I free barter and fair exchange a part of my possessory interest of use of the things I have to another man?
Okay. All right.
What I mean?
That pretty much answered what I was trying to make sure I understood the concept. Because I understand it as me being a free individual than my personal property and making a contract between another individual, a private contract,
Private.
which will fall. Yeah. Okay. All right.
As
I
long
just
as you're
wanted to
not trying to sign up for Section 8 housing, because that's how you make it the state's business.
Now here's the
Okay.
problem. Here's the problem with that. If you're doing this with a man and he doesn't understand your concept of privacy, and he doesn't, you guys have a dispute, an argument, you guys aren't getting along, and he runs to invite other men into the privy of your private agreement. Now you're going to have to understand that he's got a right to do that, and when he does
Yeah.
that, he's going to submit to being a one USC, one insane person of trying to go get a gang of artificial powers to come in and douche you into that system. So when they send you papers, legal solicitation, you have to have the sound of mind or wherewithal not to volunteer to the invitation because you have a private contract with this man. You don't have it with him. You don't know him.
I love Hassan.
All
Propagate.
right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you
I
for asking your
understand. Thank
question.
you.
So we have another example that I want to show you guys. Senya posted this in the Telegram group. It says, court rules child support statute unconstitutional. The United District Court in New York has held the Child Support Recovery Act violates the 10th Amendment. You can put almost anything in here, okay? Hey, violates the 10th Amendment. Am I lying? You can just remove that part, put the Federal Commercial Carriers Interstate Commerce Act, you put that in there. You can put any act that Congress has ever made that they think is applicable to private men and women, you can put that there. It violates the 10th Amendment because it exceeds Congress's power to what? Look at it.
Look at
What does that say?
Regulate
Regulate interstate commerce.
What have we been talking about all this time?
Commerce.
Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3. From our notes, right at the top. Because it's as above, so below.
Article 1, Section 8.
Interstate and foreign commerce. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3. Remember, these land collect taxes on people engaged in interstate and foreign commerce on behalf of a state administrative agency. That's why it says they can make rules for the government. That's it. That's all they got. And we have them doing all type of other stuff. Why? 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 Oh, you want to get me for child support? Well, I wasn't engaged in interstate and foreign commerce. Instead of I'm not making enough money, or I'm making too much money, or I did pay, or I didn't pay, or I take care of my kids. That's what people want to argue, right? Isn't that what people usually want to argue?
Yeah, it's a litter tax because they think I'm putting litter up in their house by throwing kids up in there.
People want to argue the contents of their character when the only thing the government can be concerned with is regulating interstate and foreign commerce.
Waste management.
Yes.
But now, Malika, you can also go after them misrepresenting your character because that's what they did.
Well, we misrepresented our character too. They stole our identity and we started acting dumb. Instead of being like, wait a minute, how did you get permission to talk to me? It's weird. Isn't it weird that that's not the first thing we think of when somebody starts talking to us?
Right.
Very
Why is
weird.
that not? Why is that not the first thing we think of?
Up to the hand.
I mean,
The first thing we start doing is defending ourselves. And one of the reasons I want to show you guys my lawsuit is because I'm not talking about unauthorized practice of law. Why would I talk about unauthorized practice of law in my suit against them? Unless I'm suing them for unauthorized practice of law, which I can. Why would, because I'm not going to defend myself. I'm not defending. Are you crazy? I'm not defending myself against those idiots. If you can't answer that you were talking to me because I am your person, if you can't handle it there, I'm suing you. My aunt told me to turn myself in, guys.
Well, that's an F.
You
That's an aunt for you right there.
you got to be a public official.
Well,
I'm not gonna
or-
show it to y'all in the email because I was going to. I
Aunt
posted it.
does not have jurisdiction, does she?
I posted it in the community yesterday, so you guys could go find it. She told me to turn myself in.
Well, she's
She
acting
said,
Turn
like
yourself in, Kunta. Turn yourself in, Toby.
She's acting like an auntie and
Like,
a nanny.
does she want you to transform? Like, are you like Optimus Prime or some shit? Turn into what?
Yes. I'm going to turn myself into Malika M. Duke, created by the state of Washington.
Wow.
If Malika is a state of Washington person, then you all right. You good. Because it ain't got nothing to do with me. However, if it ain't, and it's mine, you better give me the record that I said, yeah, handle that. Because if you don't, okay, you are outside of your jurisdiction. Because this is all they can punish. Are you committed? Which one of these did I commit while engaged in foreign commerce on behalf of the municipal corporation? Was it piracy, felonies? Because I think that's what the attorneys are doing. Don't you guys think so? So that's the jurisdiction of the court.
100%.
Punishing piracies and felonies is the jurisdiction of the court. Okay? Piracy and felonies, see what it says here? Where the defendant is an inhabitant, transacts business, or the sale took place. That's you operating on the high seas on behalf of Caesar.
That's why I'm an armchair pirate, not a high sea pirate, because an armchair pirate can do these things without being of the high sea of commerce. He can correct these matters.
They still make
From the keyboard,
That's
from
right.
your writing desk.
That's why they call it a keyboard warrior, and they made that a bad term, but you can just take care of this stuff just like that. It's the key.
They still make high C, like orange, high C fruit punch, high C.
Ooh.
Well, they're of Kool-Aid. The pitcher breaking through the wall. Hey, Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we come back to the jurisdiction of the court. Court and jurisdiction. Isn't it good to know? Isn't it good to know in advance so you can hold it in their face?
Yuppity duppity.
Notwithstanding any other provision of law, the district courts of the United States shall have jurisdiction over any civil action under this chapter, without regard to citizenship. They think we have a relation. This is the ship, guys. The vessel in interstate and foreign commerce. Do you guys get that?
The business
Malika,
boat.
what's so funny that you say ship? That the courthouse, I think there's a courthouse in Las Vegas.
It's in
You
Miami.
get an aerial view of it.
It's Miami.
literally a ship.
I've been to that building.
They think you're
United States business boat.
everybody's shooting from the hip, and they think your aim's off. Well,
Guys.
most of the time, maybe it's off. It's always off.
Don't shoot from the hip. You guys have to know. This is not just when people have read that doesn't apply to me, that doesn't apply to me. You're not reading it. You're not reading it because it applies to you. You're reading it because this is what had to be in order for them to be able to talk to you. And you have to know that. Because when we just say it doesn't apply to me, it's like math. Do you really know the math problem if you can't show your work? Do you really comprehend it if you cannot show your work? Just
No.
getting to the conclusion that doesn't apply to me. If you can't show that, if you can't connect the dots for the dummies in a simplistic way, do you really comprehend? Do you think you're conveying to them that you comprehend when you needed 50 pages to say it?
What she's
That's
doing.
why I don't think they overstand algebra, because if you overstand algebra, you know what replaces the X and the Y, and then you also know when you do the multiplication, you get that number.
Well, right. This is their ABC.
But we
It's
don't
known.
know the maths.
Well, their variables are known. They're ABC. What
Yes.
you're saying is that XYZ is never known. So we are the XYZ, and we need
Yes.
to bring the variable to the math problem. But their math's not the same as ours. It's going to add up the same, but they do funny math. It's pi.
Show our math. You just can't say I didn't come because that shit don't apply to me. You have to know why. You have to show your work. And that's why I wrote that one-page document.
And she's pulling the equity out of these codes for you. When she's reading these, this is how you pull the equity out and make this stuff equitable. All their stuff is equitable because it's a version of the word. That's what consumer protections are about. That's what ADA rights are about. That's what civil rights are all about. These are legal customers trying to be the most equitable and honorable they can be in a dishonorable system.
I like this part right here too. Venue and service of process. Venue and service of process. A civil action under this chapter may be brought in any district court of the United States for a district located in the host state or the off-track state, and all process in which such civil action may be served in any judicial district of the United States. Did you guys know you have to waive service in open court in order to qualify for them to mail the shit to you?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was reading about waiving service.
Shout out to
All,
Dean for bringing it back up.
all about tidings. All about tidings.
Okay. Rule number 7, you had to have waived it in open court. My aunt is telling me to turn myself in.
Malika, is there a statute of limitations to that?
No.
How can they be? There ain't no statute of limitation on fraud. You trying to
Equity.
hoodwink me using my calling to bully me and call me around?
Equity is a time travel. Can happen anytime.
Anytime.
Let me read you something real quick.
I mean, this is the thing right here. They said the case was based on this right here, where it says it sets forth the types of activities that Congress is authorized to regulate under the Commerce Clause. One of those things are things in interstate commerce. The next thing is persons in interstate commerce, and the next thing is places in interstate commerce. But we want to talk about high self law, some nonsense. What? Were you? We don't care about that. Praise Allah, okay? Were you in commerce, lady? Because if you were, whatever you did is our business, and we can regulate it.
Hey, lady.
We don't care how many times a day you pray, or what direction you face or not, or whether you kiss the rosary, eat the bread. We don't. Why are you talking about that? You guys are seeing it with your own eyes. It empowers Congress to enact laws to remedy obstruction of interstate commerce. I was not obstructing interstate commerce with nothing that I did. When I didn't put on my blinker, when I rolled through the traffic sign, right? When my light was out, right? When I took my kids to the park instead of to your brainwashed school, right? I was not obstructing, and you don't have standing to bring a claim. You don't have jurisdiction to hear a claim.
That's why if a man and woman, a Jane Q. Public and a John Q. Public, get arrested for prostitution, okay, they'd have to prove that they are doing persons and transacting for the taxable profit of the state. And they could just walk free, but they don't know that. They go in and answer the questions, confess, yeah, she went down on me in the park. $20.
The court held that Congress may do so under the Commerce Clause only where that conduct has a, quote, substantial effect to interstate. What the hell does Dean giving me pepper, unrelated totally to his case,
Oh my God!
right?
It's
And actually giving me a written power of attorney, how does that have a substantial effect on interstate commerce?
it's
How?
funny. Funny you use pepper as an example too. That's funny now.
Say that again.
That's funny you use pepper as an example because that's what you're doing. You're peppering their head right now.
Yes, but you guys see, they're talking. Everybody thinks the topic is child support. Is the topic child support really?
No, absolutely not. Subject matter don't matter.
It's commerce.
Yeah.
It's
Interstate
this
commerce,
only. It's
that
this
should be
only.
replaced with anything.
Yes, that's why when people say, does anybody here know about child support? Does anybody in here know about taxes? Is there a separate group for mortgages? This is it, guys. Because I was like, oh yes, let me go research that mortgage thing. Boom, you back at interstate commerce. Oh shit, you don't even qualify to walk in the bank to ask for the mortgage unless you're using the thing in interstate and foreign commerce. You go
May
put
I-
a drive-through in there.
May I say something real quick about the child support thing?
Sure.
Child support was actually enacted for seamen that were out at sea to take care of their families. So
Right.
again, it goes back to military and governmental bullshit.
Yep, that's what I always take everybody. I always take everybody to the same history page because they brag
Right.
about it.
And the disability came in when the seaman got injured. That's when the state was supposed to step in and assist the mother and child.
Right
Right,
there.
because it was
Federal
banned.
Network of Hospitals to Care for Merchant
Merchant
Seamen. What were
seamen.
they engaged in, guys?
Commerce.
That is the
How-
basis of the U.S. Department of Health.
High sea commerce, and it was for bastards of sailors. So if you're going to be a seller, you're going to be a sailor, and you're talking about position. And the root of the word position goes to home. Where is your true home? Is it in their house?
You
or your
have to
father's house?
know
Home
that
is where the
although
heart is.
they're coming
Right.
under the guise, they're coming under the guise of child support. They're coming under the guise of a traffic citation. They're coming under the guise that you owe so-called income tax. They're coming under that guise. What they don't want to
Emotional.
show you is that if it hasn't anything to do with obstructing interstate commerce, which is between states, nations, and tribes, it doesn't reach their purview.
So if you don't let them assume the
Mhm.
position and you don't assume the position, they can't smack that ass like that.
But we don't know what the position
And
is.
smack that asset.
We didn't ever go and search. Wow, what is the jurisdiction of this court? Now look at this under
Mhm.
12 USC.
I want to add to that wisdom too, just emotional outbursts add on to that wisdom as terms of court, right? So just very briefly, I'm going to state that it's surely commerce. And when you know how to court appropriately, people will move in a way that sometimes they don't want to like get in trouble. Example, I sent some mail. I sent post. Let me say that. I sent post. It got obstructed, even though the warning has been put out. When I went to the location where they said it was obstructed to, they were trying to extort postage, right? Even though it's
Yeah.
clearly on there. By the time I finished saying what I know off the top of my head, and I'm getting ready now, almost 6 days later, 7 days later, to go speak to someone else that's above who I spoke to, I get a text message with a photograph from who it was originally meant to get to. And they were like, "Thank you so much. I received it." Now, me and
Oh,
my baby are looking at each other last night like, "What the fuck? I didn't even get to put in the documentation yet." You get what
you
I'm
started
saying?
cracking your knuckles,
I'm like, I
stretching.
can't wait to do this. And I just think in that conversation, maybe they recognized as soon as the guy was like, "You need postage," I was like, "I don't work for you."
Well, do you understand now how a position is of a depot and a depot has a post? So if you have a public post, this is a problem. It's going to be a problem for you.
The thing about it is that
Correct.
they sell people the concept that to start a business for profit without letting them know, although you might think as this entrepreneur that the goal is profit, they don't want to tell you that you're also responsible for all the payments. You're responsible for
Mhm.
all the taxes. You're responsible for all the payments. They're only promising you that you might make a profit, but it's
Mhm.
you wanting to proffer on behalf of this municipal corporation that is the taxes and costs of everything are assessed against. You
And then
cannot, because the basis of the monetary system is the private people, like that is the back upon which the monetary system is built. You can't charge them further because your existence is based on them. You can't charge your master. That's like taxing God. How could you do that?
And that's why profit is profit. You cannot make a profit, FIT, without being a profit, PHE, or whatever that spells. But you have to be you have to have the advantage or gain resulting to the owner of capita from its employment in any undertaking, and that word undertaking is very strong there. Acquisitions beyond expenditures. So it's you have to be lording income derived from an office, property, transaction, etc., benefit, spiritual benefit, advantageous, profit gain, advance, increase, success, progress.
Bobby, what does that have to do with my kids though? They trying to charge me child support. Exactly.
Everyone
It has nothing. What that document or that case is saying is it has nothing to do with it, and that's what you need to realize. Yes,
That's a sucker
it
bet.
doesn't.
That's a sucker bet. That's the argument.
That's just what they use to confuse you, so that everybody starts sending you all of the case law saying that parents have the right to. You don't need to talk about none of that shit, and it doesn't make it untrue. It's not that it's untrue. It's just irrelevant if their only interests are things in interstate commerce, period. That is every court's jurisdiction, period.
You have to be
Their
acting.
actions have to be brought by their agencies and the secretaries of those agencies.
You have to be acting like a lord, which is a loaf. You have to be loafing someone and bread's where the bread and the fish thing comes in. You have to be kneading like a woman, like a cookery, like a bakery, and that's where Harold comes in. Harold B's name, that joke, Howard B's name, Harold B's name, Howard B's name. That's what that is. It's landlording. It's lording over someone. You cannot make a profit in that world without stepping on your brother's neck and making him wry neck.
You can't. It's an impossibility, and that makes people who wish to engage feel uncomfortable. But I keep telling them, I know that discomfort. I was right in the middle of living my best life. Okay, when
Dude.
I realized what it is that I was doing.
Lords means peers of England. Those are your peers, and that's what you get judged by when you do jury duty. You're being a jurist every day that you do these things. Think about that, a jurist. Everybody tries to avoid jury duty, but they'll go out here and do it every day to everybody else. They'll judge everybody else while they're not wanting other people to judge them. How hypocritical.
Yes, crazy. One USC, one's for real. So someone says case law fanatics. Ugh. Someone says child in parentheses corporation support. That's right. That it is. Someone says I heard a lot about parents patriate back in the day, and I was like, how does that apply? And nobody could answer without the birth certificate stuff. Exactly, which is fraud anyway. So why are we talking about that? All of those things are just to try to tie us back to this interstate commerce jurisdiction. And that's the problem. That maritime jurisdiction is the problem.
Against my religion.
Yes, it's against that's what I'm saying. So don't you accusing me of participating in it. I'm not going to turn myself in. As you guys who saw my response back to my aunt, they going to turn themselves into God's jurisdiction.
Right. When we go back in debt, we're saying that we have a father because we know our father sent his son to pay for our debt. When we go back in debt, we're saying we're bastards, so a daddy has to step up for us. Parents patria.
You see, under Title 12, the court's jurisdiction are act brought by the Bureau, the Secretary, the Attorney General of any state, or the Insurance Commissioner of any state. So what they doing coming after yourself? This is action, and then it be corporation. Well, it's attorneys hiding behind corporations, trying to use this jurisdiction.
Yeah, they're coming after you because you joined the human race. You're a Mario Kart,
Oof.
and they're shooting all the shit at you.
Yeah, don't join the human race.
I had a relative, Malika, told me, wow, I can't believe that you're putting your family through that. I actually said that.
I am we're who's putting our family through it. Why don't you say shame on the judges?
I wonder who the travel agent is for that guilt trip.
My
You know,
aunt-
right?
Shame on the
Virgin
state.
Airlines.
Remember me telling you that my aunt said the same thing? Bobby, why don't you just stop causing trouble? Go pack your shit up and go pack your mom's shit up and you guys go find a place to stay together. I'm like, Bobby's not causing trouble. Trouble come knocking on Bobby's door.
Trouble about to get
Exactly.
kicked in the
It's
teeth.
always putting off responsibility on someone else. Someone tried to do that shit to me the other day, and I said, you know what? Everybody, every male energy I'm with, I always told them, look, this is how the way. It's not about love. If you think I'm going to have some kind of control over you and you're going to have control over me, you're going to have to kick rocks.
Yeah.
So you
It's
stand up on your two, and I'm standing up on mine.
It's Tina Turner because love ain't got nothing to do with it. Listen, they're trying to gaslight you through fucking Ike Turner being Ike, okay? And he's beating the fuck out of you. And if you allow them to gaslight you like that, that is a God-asing. G-as. God-as. Gas, petroleum is a big thing in this thing. When you pull up to a gas station, what are they selling? They're selling oil and grease. They're trying to lube you up so they can mix that oil with your water. Just let that happen. That's what Petro is all about. Pterodactyl, Petro, those kind of words.
Well, I'll be down here on the bottom minding my own Pisces business. Another part of Title 12 court jurisdiction, it says jurisdiction and enforcement. Under Title 12, Farm Credit Administration, my people, is a farm commerce, commercial commerce, interstate and foreign commerce, intrastate commerce, Farm Credit Administration, enforcing outstanding notices, guys. It's not law. Does it sound like law?
Nope.
Outstanding notices. Or what? Nothing to do with law. Between agents. Can you see it? Can you guys see it? Contracts between agents and agency. Can you see it?
Clearly.
This is why I know I be making jokes, but it sounds funny to me when people are like, but I'm a good mom. Like, seriously, they be for real. I'm a good dad. I take care of my children. I'm like, I don't even know why we talking about that.
I'm a good mom. I got a 700 credit score.
Yes, that's the other thing. People want me to get in touch with this guy because he got the free car. But he tells you in that video that he didn't do it because of his credit. So why people still trying to deal with credit? Fixing, building. Oh, it's nonsense. They deny you anyway. You go in there with an 800 credit score, they deny you. Then you still got to do what Malika's going to tell you to do, which is let them know you ain't the farm.
See, farm,
and,
see?
and they're not the attorney general.
When someone dies, what do they say? He bought the farm.
Ooh.
Exactly what they say.
You right,
Go.
Bobby. Here goes the enforcement here. The director may, at the director discretion, blah, 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 request the attorney general bring an action. When anybody had the attorney general bring the action against their credit card that they do have under Title 12? Isn't credit cards on the Title 12? Ain't credit cards on the Title 12? Is it the attorney general suing you in that court action?
Not at all.
I'm not a card carrying member. They couldn't sue me anyway.
So now we get to touch back. We're coming back to this clean hand stuff, this good faith stuff.
We're coming back home, baby.
Yes, the prodigal son.
We ain't lost no more.
In Bouvet's dictionary. Oh my God. I actually put a dictionary definition in here.
I'm the one.
Maritime. Maritime cause. Maritime causes are those arising under maritime contracts. That's all of these courts. All of them. All.
Guess what? You can't be under their maritime either if you're not married to them.
That's exactly. And guess what, guys? Child support and child custody, they're all trying to enforce a marriage contract. And so many people are
That's right.
surprised when I show them this in their own code. And they say stuff like, but we weren't married. Yeah, and they punishing you for it.
That's why that word annul is very powerful too.
You might as well have got married. You might have been have better protection. But
That's why they say when a man and a woman comes together and copulate, you're already married. You already
yeah,
consummated.
you might as well. I mean, because that's what they're enforcing. They're enforcing your copulation. You're already married. But they actually write it as a marriage contracted. That's the term they use. Every state. They say a marriage contracted. That's always under the parental, some support. Anytime you find this, you will see the terms somewhere, marriage contracted. So people like, we were never married. Yeah, but they're enforcing a marriage contract. The marriage to the state. Because that's what people don't realize. You think it's married to the mom or married to the daddy. They're enforcing a marriage to the state.
So what you're saying is they are limiting your coital expansion via marriage contract.
You're arrested development because the son, and you've been talking about person the whole time, and I read you the 5 things in per. Okay, that's the root, the suffix. The son, there is no root in person. It's a prefix and a suffix son. So
you see, they tell you right here again, guys. The court held that Congress may do so under the Commerce Clause only where the conduct has a substantial effect in interstate commerce. They say it over and over. Even with this Violence Against Women's Act in the Commerce Clause, everything is connected to that Commerce Clause. It has nothing to do with what you believe or misbelieve or imagine is actually happening. And when they talk about, isn't the birth certificate a marriage certificate to the state?
It's a decedent son.
Isn't a birth certificate a marriage certificate to the state? A certificate of a merger with the state? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you want to authenticate it?
Bueller? Anybody? Bueller?
It's a maritime contract, whether made at sea, coming out your mama, or on the land when you were 5 years old.
The root of the son is to give birth, offspring. So
But
when you see
only as such is related to commerce, business, the navigation of the sea, as charter parties, affrainments, marine loans, hypothecations, contracts for maritime service in building, repairing, supplying, and navigating ships. What kind of ships? Relation ships.
Business boats.
Latency.
Business boats.
Latency ships.
When you see ships, they're talking about vessels. They're talking about relation. That's why they put the marriage in there.
It's got to be kin.
Secretary of State.
Got to be
And look,
kin.
they try to include everything, contracts and quasi-contracts, affecting averages like child support, averages, contributions like child support, like the licensing fee and the tax fee and the license, all that. The use fee, the excise tax.
Got to be of the same family. If you're not of the same family, you're foreign. Get it?
Yes.
Brain instead of soul brain.
Brain.
So
like I'm
from
not a
from
partnership.
the document, I don't know if you guys read that 48-page document that I had up going over it. It was this one. It was this
Yes.
one.
Powerful.
Malika, that business that I mentioned right there, if you look at business, it even says engage. State of being much occupied or engaged of care, anxiety, occupation, carefulness, and anxious, busy, occupied, diligent.
And all of that right there is defined right next to the definition of in the state, meaning a federal area, under the tax code. Engaging in business, engaging within this state, business and occupation tax imposed.
And you know what busy less means? Busy less? At leisure, without business, unemployed.
Busy less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that with that. Just change it to an L. That's what I'm gonna put on my next shirt.
Let's get on.
Less.
Let's get on busy.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Great. Unincorporate. Stop doing the bullshit. Let the website be unregistered.
I'm
Okay?
not your state fiance.
Civil, maritime, and admiralty actions require a contract between the plaintiff and the defendant for the plaintiff to have standing to sue. That's why I asked the question. If the Malika M. Duke you're referring to is the state of Washington's person, there's nothing for you to do. But if it's Malika and Bella's person, you gon' have to show me the express written consent given to thee by me, the owner. If I'm the owner of that Malika M. Duke, I gotta have given you permission. We had to have a contract when the state, and I think this is so funny because I made a bunch of these notes before I found out what was even happening. I read this document before I even found out I was Malika was facing felonies. Okay, for the plaintiff to have standing and for the court to have jurisdiction of the subject matter, there must be in existence a bona fide contract binding the accused to the criminal maritime jurisdiction. And the lawyer rat had better be able to get it properly into evidence. This is the foundation of the venue jurisdiction and the subject matter jurisdiction of the court. Under the doctrine of clean hands, aka good faith, relief will not be granted to a party who is an actor, seeks to set the judicial machinery in motion to obtain such remedy if such party in prior conduct has violated conscience or good faith and other equitable relief. One seeking relief cannot take advantage of one's own wrongdoing, okay? This is what I'm telling those judges in not so many words. You can't create a false scenario, find me guilty, charge me with it, create a false narrative, find me guilty of it, make a warrant in good faith.
Wow.
When you know you made the whole shit up.
Bunch of tattlers.
It requires clean hands and good faith for them to be justified in the creation of their warrant. And that's what that one records request is doing to them. You guys follow me? Follow what I'm saying?
And it,
Find the equivalent of these court jurisdictions in the state level. Because even the federal level mentions the state because they say the attorney general of the state or any state right there. Okay. Well, you'll see those types of language. So you know the jurisdiction is the same. The court's jurisdiction is the same. You have to have that element of interstate and foreign commerce. This is why it doesn't matter what state you're in. You know, like I keep saying, everybody thinks that this problem is only for people in New Jersey. This problem is only for people in New York. This problem's separate here for these people in Florida. And so we think we got to get together in a Florida group or in a Minnesota group or in a Texas group. Then we think, oh, okay, well, maybe not that, but we should get together in the CPS group or in the, and it's not that there's a problem with keeping the information organized, but you have to stop imagining that that they can deal with anything else except interstate and foreign commerce. Whatever it is, it's the version just for interstate, whatever. You think, oh, they're coming after my parental rights. No, they're coming after interstate and foreign commerce. That's it. They have to. That's the only hammer they have. So they have to see everything as a nail. We can hammer interstate and foreign commerce. So they see everything as that interstate foreign commerce nail, and they try to hammer you with it. They don't see the private. And then when they invite us to drag our private selves into their public venue and jurisdiction, we can't resist. So when people keep trying to tell me, in my case, they still, I don't know, they're like, I don't, because people sometimes they have their own agenda. So anything that triggers them, it doesn't have to be related or true or whatever. They just start going off on their agenda. So what some people don't understand is these people I have no relationship with sent me an envelope in the mail, which is not service. I never in open court waived a grand jury indictment. I never waived it. So I'm not at fault at all for not opening the mail. I did not tell them to send me something. I didn't request anything from them. I had no reason to open up the mail. I wrote return to sender, as is my prerogative, because it's not my duty to respond to anybody that I've not given authority to hold me to a duty.
What I want to do is my prerogative. I'm doing it just
Poppy.
Bobby Bros. That
That is my favorite song of all time.
yeah, Evan.
I'd be like, go, Bobby. Go. He's like, Bobby Brown.
It's interesting too that the lyric says everybody's talking all this stuff about me.
Why don't they let me live?
Why don't they just let me?
That's why I told
Speaking
you
in
it's my
code,
favorite song.
speaking in
It's my
code.
favorite song.
It's my prerogative.
Sounds like
Speaking in code.
sounds like the George Prudence Law anthem.
What?
That's the new anthem.
Brogative, indeed, bro.
That's not even a word though, actually, but that'll be a great song.
Brogative. I know, right?
Look, guys. So I had no obligation to open the mail. I sent it back as I should. They upset, hold their kangaroo court, find their, because it can't be mine, right? They find their Malika M. Duke guilty, and then they publish something in a paper that seems to be related to me.
They can't find her guilty because she won't talk back. They got to find you.
You gotta
So
get somebody to respond.
yeah, you gonna get somebody to respond
That's
because this is
evidence
my
of libel.
response. And
That's
I
evidence
just
of
wrote
libel.
this, and I want to show you guys something. I wrote this using a post that I made in here that I invite everybody to participate, but I don't know why, but people just don't see any value until I turn it into something like this. And it shouldn't have to be that way.
That's people that
So
like
you can't play the
to
game if you don't go into court. Is that what you're saying? You can't play the game if you don't go into court.
Yeah, that is. I find it difficult. I find it difficult if I remember what I keep saying about the game Monopoly, right? I'm not the shoe. I'm not the iron. I'm not the dog.
I flip that board over every fucking time.
Every time I be out here like a real baby. Smash.
Like
Okay.
it's like the Jesus in the temple.
I can't even remember the hashtag that I had.
Mayonnaise.
I can't even remember the
Ghostbusters.
hashtag, but I can't remember the hashtag. But when I wrote this notice, all I did was copy and paste most of it. Right? It starts off with since slavery is illegal and unlawful, because that's like my favorite thing to say. So what's on the site starts off like this. It doesn't have Malika. Okay. But all I did was copy and paste it into here and then edited it for my purposes. And that's what I do with all of the posts that I have here on Lawful Living. This is the reason why all the classes exist. Everything that I create, it's because I come back to my own site and use the hashtags that I know that are there, and I find the post that I need and I copy paste and edit. That's what I'm encouraging each and every one of you to do. And I did comment on the post, so some of you I'm sure got a notification where I said I used this as the basis for my my notice back to the judge. That was my comment I made on it yesterday or the day before, when I first started it. And I made this notice after I wrote my lawsuit against them, where, Malika versus State of Washington.
And Malika, you
So
know what's so funny is
what?
that just the other day, spiritually, Big Mama said to me, "Okay, you know the stuff, but you putting in too much work. So just go back and read the hashtags in the group." And that's what I started doing.
And you have a
There's
bunch of them on
there's
there.
principles.
Not
Keep it
all
simple.
of them are showing, because sometimes you put a double hashtag, and if you put
Oh,
two
okay.
hashtags, it negates the first one. So
Oh,
some
okay.
of your things are not going to be linked. But you can always go to your own page and scroll. Hopefully you don't have 5,000-6,000 posts like I do, but you can go to your own page and scroll down, and you'll be able to, see your own stuff that you've written. So I want to encourage everyone to go and look up this good faith. This good faith. So good faith and whatever the state is, right? Is what I'm encouraging people to hashtag their, if they comment on this and participating with the post, right? What I went and did was look up Good Faith Washington and come up and pull up all of the references to good faith and it all, of course, comes out for public officers. Good faith with public officers is what it's about. Peace officers, which are public officers, talking about good faith again. We're here in probate law. They're talking about good faith means honesty in fact. Good faith in making of a report, always about good faith in public administration, in public service. Good faith reports of child abuse, neglect. It can't be in bad faith. See, if they say that they're immune from liability arising out of such reporting, if it's done in good faith. What happens if it's done in bad faith? Are
Well,
they
yeah.
immune?
So once you make them willingly and knowingly, is that bad faith? If they keep acting, what you make them willingly and knowingly?
You know what they say, once you do bad face, your ass is grass, and they gotta mow it.
Just like the bearded lady in the circus, she got to cut it sometime to get a date.
That's a good question, Bobby. If you send them a notice and they still continue to act, you send them a notice that they know that their jurisdiction lies only with public through their public agencies, and they continue, they lose any immunity from you. When you sue them, they will come back and try to say they're immune. But when you notice them, this is what their rules are saying. You see it right there. Pursuant to good faith, report of child abuse and neglect, you shall be immune from civil or criminal liability arising out of such reporting or testifying under any law of this state or this political subdivision.
So this is a good point. If you notice them and you think you've made them willingly and knowingly, and they're still coming at you, notice them again and say, hey, I think there must be confusion here in my language. I don't think you understood me. I'm making you willingly and knowingly again for the second time. And if there's a problem here that you don't understand, please notice me back what parts you don't understand, and I will make it more clear, because I do want to have a meeting in mind with you.
Yes.
The second time they should stop for sure. They don't want to make it a third time because they know for sure they're at fault. But you have to make these points and keep sound enough mind.
You have to show them this is their only immunity. You guys are reading this with your own eyes. Do you guys see this? Their only immunity, that's it. Good faith is their only immunity. So when you remove their good faith, are they not defenseless?
They are saying that
they're now contagious.
Their whole system is that they're doing the best they can with honor and equitableness, because the people that they are handling, the minor wards of state, when insane persons, they're dishonorable to begin with. So they're trying to do the most honorable thing and the most equitable thing for them in good faith. Now we know that that's not always happening, and most of the time it's not happening. So this is all they got. You call them on it. If you're not a 1 USC 1 person, they admit it to you.
So remove the mask that is good faith and expose the crown corona poison virus.
Absolutely. Right here again, public officers and agencies, Title 42, they define good faith means the individual providing the information, that alleged information that they're talking about here. That's the information in the case, guys. because they didn't have a complaint in the case. It said they have an information.
And that informant does not have to be identified. My mother wasn't identified. They just took her informancy and created a legal event to induce me to adhere to most of my life until now.
Means the individual providing the information or report of improper governmental activities, because that's all they can report on each other. Improper governmental activities. That's why their definition of practicing unauthorized practice of law defines a non-lawyer as one who has been given authority by the Washington State Supreme Court to exercise in a particular jurisdiction and then exceeds. So I had to have already been a part of the governmental activity, aka certificate, acting under certificate of the Washington State Supreme Court. I already would have had to been part of their administration, is what they're saying. Same thing is going to come up when you're talking about child support, child neglect, child custody, mortgages, all of that. They can't even give you a mortgage loan without you being an executive, a director, or a primary shareholder of that bank or a bank.
Or you act
They
like
keep
one.
telling us that over and over. We have to be part of an agency to qualify for any of those services we think we need.
That
Hey,
acting
Bobby.
and
Hey,
conduct thing
Bobby.
is kind of tough.
Hey, Bobby, you said if we act like it, but can I act like a policy officer? And if I do, does it make me a policy officer? And does
No.
anything I do stand as a policy officer? So it
No.
doesn't matter if we act as a bank. We can't be a bank, so it doesn't really matter.
Hold on a second. If I'm out there in public
Banks
acting
cannot
like,
act without the people. So if you can act like a bank, because that's, or act for a bank, if you want to say.
Right. You can act for a bank, but not as a bank.
listen, if I'm acting like one of them, that's inducing questions about me acting like one of them. So that's an inducement. I'm putting it out there because I don't have the sound of mind not to act like one of them.
See right
Stop
here,
acting
it
like-
says individual who knowingly provides or reports, or who is reasonably ought to know that he's providing or reporting malicious, false, frivolous information, or information that is provided with reckless disregard for the truth, or who knowingly, see, it's very important to knowingly, omits relevant information, is not in good faith.
That's all of them. That's every last complaint they make.
They get around
So
that by
being in good faith is the only immunity from sin.
The only way to be an officer of any office, a prerequisite thing, is to be elected to said office.
Yes, if
Just
you
'cause
want to
you're
be
a-
an officer, but you still, as an
Correct.
employee, you still have this good
Mhm.
faith requirement.
Right.
And that is the most important thing, regardless of what authority they claim to be acting under, whether it's as an office or as an employee, agent, contractor. If you're doing anything proffering for the municipal corporation, you're bound to this good faith. And that is your only immunity. Search it for yourself, guys.
So that's why they call them accidentals on the record, because they're not essential. But accidentals are not essential until someone makes it essential.
I want to show you guys two other things. One, I was doing a class this weekend and I put this in the tax group, but I just want to show you guys real quick the beautiful things you find when you just look. This is a certificate from the county treasurer for someone seeking cancellation of personal property tax that are uncollectible. Whereas, and this comes right out of their tax code. Title 84 is a state tax. RCW 84 is a state tax. And this is in the code. Literally, after diligent search and inquiry of the county treasurer is unable to collect personal property taxes for want of goods or chattels upon which to levy.
Wow.
What they're saying is it's not in interstate, it's not for use in interstate and foreign commerce. So that power to lay and collect taxes granted by Congress is not applicable. Do you see that?
They want chattel. They want tattle.
This is verbatim from the code. When I found it, I was like, so they can take your property off the record for want of good. They can. They saying they're unable to collect. It's uncollectible for want of, because if you're not dealing in goods and chattels in interstate commerce, there's nothing to levy. the county treasurer is directed to file with the county legislative authority a list of said taxes and an affidavit stating the inability to collect them, asking the county legislative authority to cancel said taxes from the county tax rolls as uncollectible. That's what I put in my notice to the equalization board, and they didn't even hold the meeting, guys. I was like, fuck around and find out. It's right here. I sent it to them. I said, this is my original copy. So I'm like, oh yeah, request for petition at the Stevens County Board of Equalization for review of real property valuation. I know you guys probably can't see that, but you can a little bit see the header, right? I put that in there. They were like, bitch, stay away. Who told them to write that in the code? Taxes were duly assessed upon personal property shown on the schedule of the property appendix thereto, Exhibit A, which personal property taxes are more than 3 years delinquent, which mine were. Well, they say 4 years. Mine was 3. And which assessments were duly extended. This is for this particular county, but this is actually in the code. That part I read you guys, like verbatim. All they did was put it in there. And then they signed it. Then they list all the properties that they're going to take off the property roll. These are all the properties they took off the property roll. Okay? So they can. So when people tell you stuff like, no, what you need to do is take the deed off, because a deed is only a acknowledgement of a corporate lease. That's what a deed is. If you don't have to believe me, just come to Lawful Living, go up here, type in deed, right? And then search the hashtags with the deeds. You will see. That's it. Deeds are evidence of corporate leases. That is it. So when people say take the deed off, do some special thing, and then say put the deed back, get that part. Because if deeds are only up there so they know who they can presume to have property, be using county property in interstate and foreign commerce, that's all it is. Why would I want a deed related to where I receive mail when it's not a business address? For manufacturing and production and storage of interstate and foreign commerce items.
Don't eat where you shit.
Say again?
Don't eat where
eat
you
where
shit.
you shit.
That's right.
I hear that. I hear that, bro. What is this? Okay, so this is our looking up of good faith. People ask, how do I enforce things? We're literally showing you how to enforce things. They're only immune from prosecution when they're acting in good faith. Let them know that that's the only thing that protects them in law, their good faith. And then you let them know how they're outside of their good faith because someone has made a report that is not in good faith. It's malicious. It lacks, what they say here? They talk about the intent. Yes, here. They knowingly, because you let them know that's false. I'm not a foster parent. The father does not qualify as a sick or injured seaman, merchant marine seaman. We don't qualify for your service. The children are not foster children.
The kid is not mine.
Because all of those things are for interstate and foreign commerce, and we ain't in it. So our homework for next time, find where it says the local court's jurisdiction. You'll start to see things like traffic, what do you call it? Traffic control, using of a motor vehicle, this and that.
I call it pussy control.
It's so funny to add like emotional outbursts add on to that when you're speaking about court jurisdictions. Like, you know, like when me and a brother like going through different state constitutions and they repeatedly say that the Supreme Court of the state, which is in harmony with the Supreme Court, you know, on the federal level, should have original jurisdiction. As soon as they go to do any type of writing a citation for how fast you're traveling or saying that they want to evict you from some structure on the land, what they're also doing, which only the Supreme Court of the state can do, is redistricting where the House of Representatives and the Senate for the General Assembly.
Where is in the state? Where is they're redistricting where the state is.
Gerrymandering.
So now they are actually stepping on the toes of the Supreme Court, which would be statutory sedition.
unless the Supreme Court gave them delegation of authority that they had to delegate in the first place.
Yeah,
Got
their
you on that.
political subdivision is happens everything. Politics is the trigger. It's always the trigger.
How
If
many
you're not
General Assembly meetings are happening in your living room, though?
a lot, especially during holidays, right?
Good one. Oh my goodness. All right, we got some hands up. Let's go to some questions. Said, go ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst.
Yo,
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.
what up? I might be a little off subject, but maybe not. I was going back on the old calls, and I guess we can kind of put it here. So listen. Oh well, first of all, shout out Hassan. I heard you say something about the Haudenosaunee or the Iroquois Karanirakoa or the Great Laws of Peace. When y'all, if y'all ever go read that, realize the influence for the Constitution, of the United States.
Yeah, that's the law of the country. Like when you read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Article 21 of the law of the country, when it says if a Moor wounds a Christian or a Christian wounds or kills a Moor, that the law of the country takes place. And one time we were stumped in class because one of the mothers was like, "What's the law of the country?" We all were getting it wrong. And then she was like, "It's the Guyana Shagoa, the Great Law of the Peace." And when I read it, I was like, "Holy shit! This is what everything is based on."
Yeah.
Like,
Dang.
Well, can I add there? You're talking about the oil of vitriol. Someone, if you trespass on someone and you get your iron up, your blood's boiling. That's the bitter caustic feelings between each other, and that's why oil and water doesn't mix. It's just like a metaphorical thing.
Unless you're making fajitas.
That's true. It's true.
But
because you want some sizzle.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
Real quick, I thought I heard you say this word before. It's debarment. Have you heard that before? Debarment.
Disbarment, you mean?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, debarment, disbarment.
I think
I think it's debarment.
Well, just
Okay.
yeah, debar, but yeah, it could be debarment.
Okay, so I have found. So I already gave y'all the federal funding, right?
You're
And
gonna
I
have to do
found.
a thing separate on that because I get it, right? But for people who want deeper, we're gonna have to do more than just flashing it up on the screen so they can understand. Well, I mean, based on what you said with or showed with the federal funding, we got a temporary restraining order written up about stopping their
Well,
block grant funding
Yeah.
because you know they're using it against private people instead of
Well,
for the purposes it created.
the reason I'm telling you that term though is because I found that where you could do it through the executive agency.
Yeah,
You could do that through HUD.
that doesn't surprise me to debar.
Yeah, you can go to HUD for the debarment.
You
I mean,
can
the
go
only
to
reason I
the
feel like it's
postal contract of appeals too for debarment.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. I mean, you're going to find trustees or co-trustees doing these things. They're waiting for men to show up. So once you make them willing, even only if they can't do it, so they can do it within their board of contract or use the correct accidents of record at that agency. But if they can't do it all over, once they do it there, send us to the next man because we're going to see him next.
right because we're already doing our job. We're already doing our job with the good faith. We're taking the good faith away from them. Now, when they continue to act, you feel me? That seemed like that could be that next step when they going outside that funding that we know they misappropriating.
Right.
We need to go to that agency and have them snatch that.
So this is what private citizenship's all about. And I'm not talking about illegal adherence. I'm talking about being lawful. If you see something, say something. If one of your neighbors is having trouble, like Malik is helping Dean, you can go to them in private and make an agreement to help them out. They can't stop you from doing that. So
Right.
this is how this
They
system
can't
is.
stop me. So they decided they're gonna try to punish me for doing it without their permission.
Well, they're going to induce you to be punished. So if you fall for that inducement, you're being really tempered.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand people who are trying to tell me what I should have done. And it's like, well, why didn't you do this and that while the case was open? I didn't. What case? What fucking case? They sent me something in the mail saying I gotta show up somewhere on there. I don't have to do nothing.
Yeah, see, he said debarment, and that was a good word right now.
Yeah.
You're being groovy. Okay, you're not being grooved. You're being groovy because you're jazzing them back. Lock is a groove with a bar. Okay, if you debar, now you're unlocked. So if you stay groovy and you can't be grooved, you're going to razzmatazz them, give them jab back, give them a jab. You're going to start scatting with them, and they can't control that. It's inspiration, it's creativity. They can't stop that.
Exactly. They might try, but even my parents couldn't undo what I came here to do. My parents
See,
had a
Bobby, that's what
had a
Duke
hard time with
Ellington
me.
did. Scat, scat.
My parents had a hard time with me, and they had a harder time after I met my husband. And they were like,
If you
"Hey,
look,
I don't know what this girl doing."
if you look up scatology, you'll get that these bar members are trained to do scanning in language. So it's Latin. They do metrics. So they're being lyrical.
Bobby's
So
giving
once
them all
they
types of kudos.
yes, well, yeah. So once they know the language, they can tell everybody else is talking insane, and they could, like I say, you can hear a man on all these Zoom calls or Telegrams when they're giving lessons. Their language is so loose, and they're moving in and out of context in their words. So is their intentions good? Maybe, maybe not. But their overall content is all over the
Well,
fucking
you
place.
know what happens, Bobby. If you cannot impress people with your brilliance, you baffle them with bullshit.
Exactly. That's exactly.
I'm not about that life. I hope everybody could tell. But this is what Just Joe just was telling us. HUD's Department Enforcement Center, guys, pursues suspension and debarment actions that result in the exclusion of a sanctioned party.
Sanctify me, baby. Sanctify me.
Debarment sanctions mean that an individual, organization, or its affiliates are excluded from conducting business in any federal agency government-wide.
So
Wow,
y'all
that
outside,
includes the state too.
y'all outside, y'all congressional intention throwing me in the street, right? And y'all misappropriating this funding. So I don't see no reason for you to have it.
I
If they-
hear you.
If
Look
they're
at
claiming to
that.
be a state, if they're claiming to be a state of religion, they better be sacred. And they're talking about sanctification here, and they better be hallow. Hallow is his name. Hallow is his art. Hallow.
Look at that, guys. Causes for debarment is imposed for criminal and serious HUD violations, which include using false documents to originate a mortgage. Don't they all do that?
Correct.
You talking to me?
Indeed, they do.
And that's why when people like we getting all deep down into what the documents mean and stuff, it's interesting, yes. But that's not the focus. The fact is that it's false.
That's a sucker bet. It's a house bet. You start
Diversion
arguing.
of project assets, embezzlement, theft, and forgery. Hello.
Hello.
Fucking pickpockets.
So I want to show you guys something else because people are asking how they might be able to help me. And last night I posted. Okay, so you see right here, guys, where it says Commission on Judicial Conduct filing a complaint. You guys can file a judicial complaint on those two attorney judges.
Screen's not showing.
Your screen's not showing it.
I seen American Badass sent you some stuff to help you out.
Yeah, who's that?
Eric Gonzalez.
Oh my god. Guys,
I knew you got a kick out of that.
I was like, what the hell is Derek Gonzalez doing?
I was going to read it to see if it came from your own class.
That's the only reason I opened it up. I'm like, did he screenshot my shit? No, this is bullshit.
Wow.
Here's why I say that. I do
Wow.
not need the definitions of practicing law without a license. I don't need do you guys understand why?
Yeah.
That's arguing the merits of their case. I'm not here to argue the merits of their case of whether or not I'm engaged in whatever they're accusing me of.
Well, hell, you're not practicing.
Why are you talking to me?
Thank you. That is too simple. So he posted like all this stuff. I don't know if he's trying to kiss my ass or what. I have no like what. He's like, our friend Malika needs help.
No, he didn't.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't say that.
Yeah,
He did say that. That's literally his
Damsel in
caption.
distress.
Our
Public?
damsel in distress.
Like
Malika needs our help.
openly? He openly said that shit
If
somewhere?
I needed your
Yeah, he
help,
posted it.
I would go sign up on your site. I would sit into your Zoom. I would try to
University.
steal your information.
I mean, that's
University.
that's sucker shit though. Like that's kind of like.
I wonder if he's in here now.
He might be. I don't
He could
know.
He won't have a conversation with me. He outright and says there is no one can act in this world outside of commerce. That's what he says.
That's
Said it to
fine.
me- Said it to me many times.
That's
I do
fine.
it every day.
Every day.
That I don't care what you believe.
I
I don't
have
care
outside of commerce every day.
if I'm acting in commerce even. Are they supposed to be talking to me? They created a
No.
system where in order for us to do certain things, we have to commit crimes.
You have to
That's
act illegal.
coercion. You
We have to
can't
act illegal.
blame me for that.
I got a question around foreign commerce. When is it not foreign? Like if it's just in the Constitution they have a capital I for Indian, and I'm thinking that's because the Indian business is not foreign.
I don't know. I just try not to be involved. So it's a good question. I just don't know.
Like from Hindustan Indian, like the River
We don't
Sindhu.
we don't know what they're meaning. We don't know.
Oh, because I
But
can't find
whatever it
American
means,
India on
they have to have permission from me to regulate it. So I don't care what they're thinking. Oh, we can control this, we can do that. Wonderful. It says here by consent of the governed. So show me where I consent. This is why when people start, and I said this before we got down deep into this stuff. When people, where the hell is this thing? Now I got it open twice. Okay.
It's outside, Tony. Anything outside.
I'm looking for the SF 210 form. We've gone through this before, but
Thanks, Bobby.
No problem.
have you guys looked up your
Love
tort
you too,
claim
bro.
act for the state?
Yes.
Is that Hassan?
Oh, I
Say
said was
no.
yes. I didn't
Say
get the
no,
answer.
it's not Hassan.
Okay.
You got Sonny
Bussin'.
cracking up in the background.
Bussin'.
Forgive me.
I like how Hassan don't care how much I slap his hand.
Yeah.
I love it. So this is the tort claim form because I know everybody's like, what do I say now that I got all this stuff? I don't know if it's every single state. However, it says the tort claims are subject to public disclosure pursuant to this Title 42 again, which is public administration or something for RCW. This form, they tell you right here. Everybody's like, "Where's risk management? Where's risk management?" Go look up your state tort claim. You see, it says here, this is where I sent the claim for our youngest son when he received a ticket from this Washington State Highway Patrol. It said that the Department of Enterprise Services Office of Risk Management is where that claim is sent. I usually just call it the Office of Risk Management because different agencies have different risk management offices. It might not be in the Department of Enterprise Service in your area, but it will be called the Office of Risk Management. They tell you where it is. They tell you the phone number. You can even fax stuff. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm showing you guys I showed everybody what I'm going to send the judges. Now, this is where I'm going to report the judges. In Washington, they call it Standard Form 210. They give you all these instructions with check marks and they tell you how to write it. They tell you how to write the date. Yo, could you believe that? They tell you how to write the date.
And remember when I told you the 5 things of per? One of them was risk. This is per the risk.
Yes. And I'm going to slap them on their wrist for taking this risk. It says, please describe the incident or the injury or damage. And then this is the actual form. So yesterday, we also found a similar form in Illinois.
Yeah, because I looked up Illinois and I looked up Maryland. I just sent Maryland just now. I
Okay.
sent that in the text.
Cool. Teamwork makes the dream work. So you see this, it doesn't have an OMB form. I don't care. I'm still reporting them. This is a lawsuit. This is an administrative lawsuit. So when I tell them I will prosecute them administratively, criminally, that was what I forgot. I forgot the word criminally. I went to sleep last night like,
I think you put it.
I got to put criminally in there.
I think
It's
you
there.
It's there.
You did
I
three
said
things.
criminally. Did
Yeah,
I?
it's in there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in there.
it's in there.
I will prosecute you. Yes,
there.
criminally. I must
Yeah.
have added it. Maybe
Yeah,
I added
Malika, I think they
Okay.
were targeting your son on purpose. I think they
No,
were targeting your
They
son
weren't targeting my
because
son. He didn't
they
he doesn't
weren't.
have any plates on his car. And they
Well, I
just
mean,
are told to think like, oh, they don't have plates on their car.
but they're
Oh,
not. They're not
you mean because
enforcing.
I prosecuted them?
They don't
They're
have
not
a pl-
enforcing all that stuff about the plates and everything down here. All they're doing is they're looking for people who are in what they call the organized street crime, like
selling stolen cars and
Oh yeah,
other
they tell
drugs.
you
That's
that in
all
the
they.
Florida code. In the Florida
But
code, they say clearly when they're enforcing transportation that they're enforcing stolen car codes on people just because you have a tag. But
Right.
nobody
but they're
reads
not
the section
stopping
to
anybody.
say, "Hey guys, did you steal your own car?" Like they're charging you under the code that says it's for stolen cars.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
half the people here don't have any tags on their car and they don't do anything about it.
Good.
They
So this is
don't.
the Illinois one, guy. Just one page. They don't give you any instructions, but this is what it is. I suggest coming here and writing "C attached," and then including some papers, okay, and then making sure you fax it or mail it to the right office, right? So, like I said, I just pulled up the Tort Claim Act. Well, where did it go? Okay, right here. Now I see I have it open twice. That's what I get for not being patient. But you can fill this in, or you can still do the "C attached." Claimant's name. I think I actually have some of it filled in here, but they're only kind of long, right? They try to make it so like, yeah, I started putting my name in. They don't have my birthday on file. I'm gonna leave that blank. Okay, so it's very simple. Mailing address, data, incident, right? I'm gonna put the day that they had the kangaroo event, the day they issued the false security, aka warrant. The other thing I wanted to show you guys real quick is this on our as above, so below. Remember, it said that it doesn't say on the docket that they had a did you guys notice that? It said they had an information. And it says right here, the governor is who may require information from officers in the executive departments, which is where all the prosecuting attorney's offices are, of the state in any subject relating to their offices.
And I've seen a governor's warrant to arrest somebody in Alaska who was a Native American. They brought him back for child support under a governor's warrant.
Because an information is an outline, it's a concept, it's an idea. It still has to be fulfilled because it's a form. It's got form right in the middle of it. Form is a skeleton, and a skeleton can be animated any way you want. If you fall for their animation, then you vineyard yourself in there. If you don't fall for their animation, you brought your substance, your equity to the form. You understand?
I get it, of course. But I feel like I've been like Hassan answering your question.
And I'm also thinking about that whole thing too. I'm thinking about 25 USC 5304 and the fact that most, beings that are identifying, and this is not to be offensive at all, but when you do the history on the difference between those that are American and those that call themselves Indian or Native American here, that's under like collective bargaining agreement stuff.
Yeah, they're not, and the
Yeah,
bad thing
sure.
is nobody is calling themselves anything really, right? They're calling themselves whatever their tribe is. It's these bureaucrats that are trying to lump people into categories, and it got people calling themselves nonsense. I call people pre-American, period. It's before somebody else came over here and started calling it America.
Well, that would be a Mexim then.
Okay, just
where you get
saying,
old
tribe is
That'd be
it's
everywhere.
pre-American.
That'd be
First and
everywhere.
foremost,
Indigenous.
you might have a particular name, right?
And
But that's separate from the fact that y'all existed before America.
Yeah.
Right,
you know?
indigenous. That would be my family.
So this is what I'm showing you guys here. This is how I got my redress number. I did none of the. Let me tell y'all this: the guru who told me about SF never filled one out. Never. They
why
don't
you
have
ride
a
a bike.
redress number for
Do as I say,
nothing.
do as I say, not as I do.
Because see, I'm not the type being like, oh, I'm gonna wait to see what the guru do before I do. If something makes sense to me, I'm going off into a corner and I'm doing it.
The guru do. There's a joke in there somewhere. I'll put it
The
out.
guru do. I don't care what the guru do.
How
I
you
don't
ride
care
a
what they
bike.
do, didn't do.
They
There's certain
do
questions
do.
I don't even ask people because I don't want to embarrass them for saying, well, I didn't actually do that, or I don't actually know how that works. It just sounded like a good idea. I did it. I did it intuitively, not because somebody told me to say this particular, that particular. I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm not going to ask nobody because nobody else probably did it before. I'm 100% confident that nobody that y'all ever spoke to filled out or submitted a state tort claim act.
I should.
Ask them. Ask everybody. Have you ever filled out an SF-95? Oh, but no, but I heard of them. That's what you'll get. Have you ever filled out a state tort claims? This is a lawsuit. This is a suit. They will give it a case number. They will make them respond. They will give a resolution. Look at this. I claim damages from the state. Oh shit, wrong. I'm supposed to put a comma, 3 more zeros, right? What y'all think?
Well, they have this. Claims are not time.
You gotta
I
put
mean,
another zero
jurisdictional
there.
claims are not
That's
time
what
barred.
Sonny
So,
just said. I need another zero.
barred,
I'm not done
I
with
can
this.
bring this
I'm not
claim.
done with this, guys.
I
I'm not
call
done with this, okay?
I call this the OU82 form.
That's what I was thinking of the
Well,
other day, Bobby, when I was writing
what
it.
is that what is that 5,500,000 of? Is it
Whatever they're willing to give me.
Yeah.
I'll take it in seed, coffee beans, the
Yo,
flour.
How about pounds of marijuana?
Oh,
Not marijuana, but cannabis.
look,
McGrill's lighting up when you get into 6 figures, wasn't there?
There we go. You can be like my buddy Mark and get
Okay, it's okay.
92,000 American Eagles. He falls
It's okay. It's okay when you want it.
well,
Yeah,
you know what?
American
You know
Eagle
what
alone.
they told me in the federal one. What they told me in the federal one is they wouldn't even look at it if it didn't have a money value. That's what it says in the instruction. They don't consider it a claim at all if it doesn't have something in this.
And
You're
it's got to be
filling out
above
you say you're
75,000.
filling out a form too? Are you filling out a form?
Yes, I went to the top here and I put
You're
C,
fired.
I put C attached.
Fired.
Fire me, fire me, fire me as your guru. Damn it, fire me as your guru. I'm showing you a form. Oh my,
Oh, that was a good.
Hey,
such
like
a
I said
hypocrite.
before,
Oh, that
I
was
said
good.
before, my
Malika,
brother Taj.
I did one last week with Mississippi. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
I remember
Awesome.
like
All
one of
right,
the last
Chibe, go
calls.
ahead with your question, comment, or emotional outburst. If you guys want to help me, this is the type of stuff you need to do. Fill out the claim form for
Right.
emotional distress, intentional infliction of emotional distress. You were very hurt when you saw your friend potentially being named as a criminal. Because I did have several people call me worried, for real. They tell me that their heart's palpitating when they're reading the fact that there's a warrant out for me. They know that I have medical issues that are not beneficial to being in a cage.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a real concern. And if you wish to help, that's the type of stuff you could do. Like just say how it negatively affected yourself.
I put that
See,
under.
if y'all want to argue about the fact that I cannot be guilty of what they're charging me because I've never been given permission by the state, and their accusation requires that I have already been given permission and then acted outside of it. Y'all could argue that if y'all want. But
what about even just the capacity of a defendant? How can you even be a defendant?
Accommodating part.
right, remember we went over in our as above, so below document where it talked about joinder of parties up here by rule 17, rule 20. Where are we?
Yep.
Right here. Okay, permissive joinder of defendants. It has to be permissive joinder of defendant. Look, persons as well as vessels, the relationship. Let me put that.
I put this under.
Relation-
I put this under hashtag Malika got fired. So if anybody's looking for it, right?
Yes, put Malika got fired. Fire your guru. Right?
Wow.
Charles is now our guru.
And it's 50 grand. It's 50, 50K. It's 50K
Let me-
to join the party. For a party.
God, you're hilarious.
That's why I love you.
You sound like some of these gurus out on
Y'all
Facebook,
niggas want
Charles.
to join the party? Y'all want to join the party? It's a 50K joiner fee.
It's a house
That's
party.
right, Charles. Thank you. It's a 50K joinder fee, fool.
Just an emotional outburst just really quickly on that form. Like I said, one of the last conversations I had with Brother Taj, he's like, Hassan, all we're doing is rebuttals and in lieu of form.
That's what I meant to tell y'all. When you read the rules about the Tort Claim Act, including the SF-95, they always say to use the form or other writing.
I love that or other writing.
Or they always say it, or other writing. So you do not technically have to use the form, but you need to include all the information, which of course is straightforward, obvious, why it's relevant. Okay. So just make sure you include it all, or just use the damn form. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with
right.
using the form.
So they can tell you you're using their other writings. So I know some folks get like when I did my notice, it took me 40 days because I was wrapped up into that. Am I choosing the right word here? Am I choosing the right word there? No. Disqualify at the beginning that you don't know legalese, you don't know what I'm going to say this in plain language, however you want to say that first paragraph, and then go ahead and say what you need to say and stick with it.
Yes, most people say something like, I'm using
don't use
strictly
this one.
common terms and no statutory terms or something like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Hey, I'm not gonna use this form. Sorry, I can't do it.
What can't do it? Wouldn't be prudent. Wouldn't be
It
prudent.
wouldn't be prudent. It wouldn't be becoming of a lawful living agent. Chi Bay, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
I got so into the conversations, I basically forgot it.
No.
It just be a lot of information. It'd be a lot of information. I'll be trying to pay close attention to absorb everything.
All
you know?
right. If you watch it
Um,
again and the question comes up, just leave your comment. We'll get back to it.
But I just got to say, you are one of my new personal favorite heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. This is fire. No
Yeah.
question.
Awesome. Awesome.
Heroine.
I yield.
Champ.
Come on.
Where's your
Hey,
cape?
Hey.
so I must say I'm severely under the weather, but I've kind of lost my
Yeah.
footing. Yes, soon, because I don't even get sick. But I've lost my footing a bit, right? And I've been thrown off my game. So I think the last time I told you guys where, the judge still proceeded after
Yeah, they
having
set a
me,
date for a hearing
they set a date
for trial.
for trial.
hmm
And then I checked the docket yesterday, and they filed plaintiff's witness and exhibits list, right? But it says plaintiff will not have any expert witnesses, but some dummy from the servicer will be there. I'm like, who's this dummy? I don't know her either.
But you get to cross-examine. You get to cross-examine. So
That's it.
do
You
they
better come
know
ready.
do they
That
know
shit
the
ain't
limits
easy.
of the statutes that govern a servicer? Are they aware that servicers are only supposed to be servicing loans for property owned by foreigners? So I would suggest you go here and type in servicer, because the servicers, they don't know where they can do business. They don't know where the location has to be. So in between these servicer links, you're looking for one that says where you had to have signed the contract. Because first of all, of course, you have to be the person qualified to do the transaction. So that's where you get to hit them with. What evidence do they have that you were the class of person that could
So I
engage the
use
transaction? Then you have to know where the document had to have been signed. Most people don't know that you had to be in a particular location and office. It just can't be just anywhere on earth. The other thing is where the servicers can do business. The actual, like, who they can give loans to, or not even who they can give loans to. What am I saying? What
who's
what
qualified or
actual
eligible.
processes they can do, because it does not include foreclosure. Okay, this is what they can do right here. You see this? Support services for loans are restricted to courier service. This is what the servicer can do. So is she gonna be there being an expert witness of courier service?
She's not going to be an expert witness, but she's coming to
But is she gonna be a
whatever.
witness to the courier service? Courier
Well, then-
services, providing courier service for checks, commercial paper. This is literally where their job description is. See? Support services for loan servicers. This is it.
This is good for student loans too, huh?
So I
Yes.
brought up these points in my my affirmative defenses already.
Good. So now you get to ask her the
When I
cross-examination
first
question
did that.
if they show up.
So
What's this
Yeah, I
for?
was gonna say,
Mortgage?
can't you do a
For
motion to
mortgage? Is that mortgage?
Yes, it's mortgage.
yes, it's mortgage.
See this right here? Is this because you're saying you put this in your affirmative defense? So did you come and do this exercise with doing a hashtag search on servicers? Okay. You guys can't hear me?
Uh-oh. Okay, I can hear you now. I think that was
Okay. So my question to you is, did you do a hashtag search just on servicers before?
I watched the Fin foreclosure video. I think
Okay.
it was yeah.
So I suggest, because since we've done that class, I've put several pieces of information here exclusively for people who need to question the servicer. However, you can always challenge subject matter jurisdiction, and they're trying to get you off of that.
I've done that twice.
Do it again. Do it again. Never stop challenging subject matter jurisdiction, because again, it's for commercial. That's the only thing that belongs there in their courts. You had to have been using it for commercial. So the question of what commercial activity is engaged at the property. You think the servicer is going to know that? when they're limited to pushing paperwork.
Also,
So
you that good faith as well. The good faith is a bomber too.
yeah, I use that as an affirmative defense that they didn't have clean hands.
You got to keep making your record. You've got to keep making your record. And remember, at any point, you can just sue 'em. You can just sue 'em and make them bring the whole case, bring the witness, everything, but over here into my case.
Right, and that's filing once on the state level. I'm not state level, but the county level into their court case, right?
That's filing a federal claim and then doing a removal of their whole nonsense into that federal claim.
Okay.
You
I
see
think
right
what
here,
I
settlement services. That's all they can do for these covered transactions, which means an extension of credit. But it has to be in a foreign location. It's for foreigners. See, look, the servicer's venue is out. This is not my word. It says it right in this code right here. It says outside of the United States. So could you imagine that servicer witness getting on the stand? Ma'am, do you know where we are in the United States? Did you know where this transaction had to take place? In the United States. It says their transactions are for outside of the United States.
Yeah, did you played that courtroom, that woman, that judge? Did you play the first of it where she told those people in the Zoom, "You are here in my court. You are here in my court." She said it 3 times, then said it a 4th. You're not in your
Yeah,
kitchen. You're here in my court.
you're not in the living room. You're here in my court.
Abra, you are now getting sleepy. Spit in the pendulum.
Yes, all of their transactions is limited to outside of the United States. They just that they don't know where they are. That's why we have to know where we are. So I suggest to come and do a hashtag search for servicer and make sure you comprehend what's going on here. But I would also focus on suing them and not entertaining their nonsense.
Right. I buckle down on that. And another friend in law we're gonna do it together because she's in Florida as well. I think Samaya wanted to say something to me.
Samaya, did you have something to share?
Not today. I'm not feeling too well, so I'm just listening.
Were you saying to do a motion to strike? I thought I heard you.
I can't remember the name of the motion, but it's usually like when the witness shouldn't or like don't have any direct knowledge of the case, something like that. You could do. I forgot the name of the motion you could do to get them off the witness list. I can't remember right now what it was.
See if you can.
Well, see if you can remember that for me, because that would be good. But if I filed the counterclaim or whatever, I wouldn't even have to entertain that, like you said, correct?
Yes, you can file a claim against them anytime. That's why I'm not putting anything in their case, like a motion to dismiss or a motion to strike their claim, or I'm just suing them. So I'm going to do another video. I might do it later on today, or I might do it tomorrow, where I'm going to go over my complete, or I should say 99.5% complete, because I still got missing addresses, apparently. My case is pretty much done against them. That's why I'm giving them the opportunity with that notice of liability and intent to sue, and the suit's already done. So it don't matter what they say, I'm going forward.
And at this point, what can be done about the judge? I've done a judicial complaint.
I would do another
Your
judicial
motion
complaint.
is
I would file a tort claim on them, just like I showed you guys. I would file a tort claim
your
on them. I would
motion.
file a criminal complaint against them.
The motion is a dispositive motion that kicks it
Dis-
out of the court.
No, that's not what it's called. It is a dispositive motion because it's not something that's going to dismiss the whole case. That's the reason they call it dispositive, but that's not the name
No,
of
but
the
it'll
motion.
dismiss. It just dismisses one element.
You can suppress
Picks one
evidence by motions in lemine, if that's what you're talking about, suppressing evidence. It's
Yeah.
called lemine, and you can find that on just searching the internet. Is that how you pronounce it? Lemony? I call it lemine.
Lemony, yeah.
It needs a Y at the end if it's lemony. I'm just kidding.
Oh, excuse my
stuff
French.
is Latin.
Excuse my French.
It's okay.
Limine.
Is that the only question you have for us today, champ?
Yes, that's it. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. And woman, go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
Okay, thank you. Awesome class, by the way. I can't wait
Thanks.
till you post. I'm gonna have to rewatch it, of course. Okay, so I do have a couple questions, and it kind of goes based with what you were talking about today with the good faith. One of my questions is, as you were speaking, you were saying you send it to them the second time and so forth. Well, I'm wondering if I send like a good faith notice or anything to all of these actors, because I know some of them have only gotten one notice. Does that even matter at this point?
No, I would sue them.
Okay. Okay. So then the other, thank you.
You're welcome. I would sue
Other-
them. I would do the Tort Claims Act on them. I would do, because this is how you sue the state to get consent against the state. You do a tort claims action first. They'll tell
Okay.
you whatever, just like my redress number. My redress number actually said, the letter that I got said that if I did not like the conclusion that the agency came to, I'm going to just show it to you guys, that I could just take it to court. See right here? Says, this constitutes a final agency decision. Pursuant to this section, you have 60 days to seek review of this decision in an appropriate United States Court of Appeals. So once I do my tort claim, I'm gonna get a letter that's gonna say this. I already know how it goes because I've done it. Unlike the other gurus out there, I know when I file my tort claim, I'm gonna get a similar letter like this, and it's gonna say if I don't like the decision, I can appeal or review it in the United States, probably district court. The district court of the United States is probably what it's going to say. Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what court is going to say, but I know they're going to say something like this.
So I did turn in my tort claims, which is not as good as the lawsuit. I just
Okay.
okay. I can't. There's just something magical about Malika. So
No, it's not. I'm telling you, it's just comprehension. You have to show that you
Mhm.
comprehend. Because once you comprehend, you can understand how you could say it like this, say it like that.
Like
right.
this and
I
that's
think
like
it was
that and like this,
I think part of it was just being so like discombobulated and feeling rushed. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's like you feel like, oh my gosh, they're gonna come any second. So,
Yes.
but my question was, okay, so I did get a response from Nebraska State Risk Management. They said I need to have the cover sheet form with it. So I was filling that out and I was wondering, I was just about to upload it.
I
And
just want to say your kids are loud AF, but I'm laughing to myself because I'm glad that they're there.
so I'm so grateful to God and for all of you. Listen, all of you. I have to tell you from the bottom of my heart, Malika, this group has saved my life. And all of you who reached out to help me and for everything, all the ones who warned me to leave. And I'm so grateful. Anyway, so my question is the risk management, do I keep that the same, the 5 million, or for the amount on the
No, you don't have to do the 5 million. For the risk management, I mean, I would put whatever I wanted, but I usually save those bigger numbers. That's why I was joking about I'm not done with the document. I'm not going to charge risk management $5 million.
Okay, because I put 500,000. So
Right. For when I did my SF-95, I only put 50,000. Well, I only put 52,000, and let me tell you guys why. Because in my initial notice of liability to the agents that took my world passport, I told them that it was $2,000 for the taking and $500 per day for the keeping. And by the time I filed my claim, it had been approximately 100 days.
okay. So I guess what I'm wondering is I'm about to resubmit this to the state with that cover sheet, but I'm just wondering, is it okay that all the facts that I outlined, it's about 11 pages long. I just really try to be simple and like we do the lawsuit and just write down the fact and then make sure that it's something I can prove with evidence and the date and what happened. And that's okay. Then I can, because I
Yep.
did ask a bunch of like questions in there, like, what evidence do you have that my property's in the state, blah, blah, blah. And I'm wondering if I even need that in there. I should take it out.
I don't think so. I don't think you need to ask them any questions because you're just stating what happened and the fact that it happened without evidence of a existing maritime contract with the state agency that's trying to impose whatever the hell they're doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Glad I could help. Because that's really all it is, guys. I mean, that's why my letter looks so simple. I put all my brilliance in my notes, all my codes and everything in my notes. And then when I get ready to talk to them, there's like 2 things in there. 1 page. two things. You know, I added this in at the end, and this is just my personal flair. This is just none of this is flair. All of this is basic common sense.
Ooh. Oh, I thought you said Flair. Forgive me.
Love flair. Woo!
Like Ric Flair, yeah. Nature boy.
Woo!
My husband loves playing that stupid nonsense,
Nature
like
girl.
right in the background in the middle of stuff. Woo!
Woo!
All right.
E-
Beloved
Emotional
2002.
outburst.
Beloved
Emotional outburst.
2002. Go ahead with your question, Commodore Emotional Outburst.
The emotional outburst that I had when you guys were talking about flair and stuff like that. I remember a long time ago, this gentleman, his name was LaFleur, and he wanted to take me out on a date or whatever. And you know, he had a good job and everything, you know, but I was like, no, I'm passing.
You don't want him to keep saying woo.
He was Gucci Man LaFleur. Let me stop.
I left LaFleur alone.
Gucci man.
Wow.
Okay, beloved, 2002, this is your last call. Did we lose you? Okay. Seems like we lost you. Okay, AIM, it's your turn for your question, comment, or an additional emotional outburst.
No problem, brothers and sisters. Okay, the thing is, I've been diligently looking. I know you have it on the post 5177 for in the state for
Mhm.
Georgia, and I know what I see that you have documented, but for my eyes only, I cannot locate it. And I've looked and sourced and everything, and it won't come up for me. For some reason, it doesn't want me to see it with my eyes. So can is that a possibility to be done, or should I still keep sourcing the information? That's my question for today.
What is it that you're looking for?
The definition of in the state
In the state,
or
Georgia.
Georgia.
Ooh.
So we
That-
go to
that-
our handy dandy universal post.
Right. Which,
Scroll down to
The G section. The G spot. I'm kidding.
right.
The G
okay. So
section.
when you look this up right here, what comes up?
It didn't come up as what you see it there, as what I see it on your site, and I'm tried to look for it and I cannot find it.
So
You know
does
what I'm
this
about to do?
section not exist anymore, or what?
I don't know, but it doesn't read the same as what you have. So I've been looking.
I got that from the Georgia folks. OGCA.
Yeah, I'm about to check their General Assembly and see if I can find it straight from their statutes.
So when you go here, it doesn't have the number 38.
Ooh,
I read this part, but I didn't see that part.
It's
but
right here.
It shows state, but it didn't say
Yes.
in the state. I'm looking for in the state, just like it has for Washington.
What would be the difference?
Enlighten me, sis, because
You
I
tell
know
me.
it
You
says
tell
that,
me.
but it
This looks
doesn't.
like the same thing to me as in the state. It's saying a federal area, which includes District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, any
Right.
territory or insular possession subject to the jurisdiction of the United States.
Right, but the thing is, I think I was looking for it to also say the exterior borders within a federal territory, even though it has territory and insular possession in there. That's what I'm not seeing. So, but I didn't see it come up as quote in the state like it
Yeah,
has.
it's
in
not every
Washington.
single one of them is quoted as in the state, but it's still the state described.
Okay.
Just like same thing in Hawaii. State means the United States, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, any territory or insular possession subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. These are identical.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm about to post the General
There's-
Assembly Georgia's website real quick, but it looks like their statutes are on LexisNexis.
The statutes are on what website?
Okay, so look, so look, literally,
The head
look,
identity theft website?
look, I promise you, look, I'm gonna send you Georgia General Assembly. Give me 2 seconds. Let me copy it. Let me send it to the chat, right? And I will navigate you briefly through it because it's not even complicated. Like, seriously. All right, so there's the link, right, to legis.ga.gov. And when you click on where it says legislation and laws, they're in that kind of like grayish, bluish looking area under the like maroon or red. When you click on that, it brings up legislation, calendars, first readers, composites, votes, Georgia, laws, and government. So I went to go click on Georgia code, and you see there is a arrow pointing with the box, which means it's going to take you to some outside site, right? Now, I don't know. I could click on all legislation. I could, but I didn't go there. I wanted to look at the Georgia code. So when I clicked on Georgia code, it takes you to advanced.lexis.com, right? That's
Okay, so
LexisNexis.
hold on with that. Let me get the next question real quick.
All right. I yield.
Spirit Power, thank you for your patience. I hope I didn't just put somebody's hand down. Go ahead with your question, comment, emotional outburst.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
So my question is, so say you've already, before I came to this group, I had a couple situations, one with a tax, real estate tax. I saw some information on that today in this class. But what if you've been communicating with the debt collector of the city prior to coming to this class? You know what I'm saying?
Records requests. Records requests. You have to know what kind of property, what class of property, and what the property has to be doing in order for the state, any state actor on a municipal level, city, county, whatever, federal, to have authority to or an interest in the property.
Okay.
The best thing to do is to pull up the property code of the state and stick with the first section that says stuff like general powers, general applicability, and things like that, where you'll see it starts to talk about schools, farm real estate, corporations, eminent domain.
Okay. Okay. And what is that the same, like once you've lost a property, say like the foreclosure, trying to go back?
Yes.
Is that the same thing? Like there's no statute of limitations because
Absolutely.
there was
Because
fraud done?
because since, for example, they're only supposed to have an interest in corporate or public use property,
Right.
that's proof that the court didn't have subject matter jurisdiction.
Okay.
And so you have to find where that's located in their property code, and it is there. And that's what is kicking their ass, because we go and read it, we copy paste it into a document. For example, in Nebraska, it says right in the beginning, its applicability is to corporations. Period. The property code, applicability to corporations, and then a period.
So in any state, I can look at property
Any
code.
state, every state. I have at least a half dozen states' property codes downloaded onto my computer.
Okay.
And I can tell you that you don't usually have to make it past chapter 2 to get
Seriously.
100% of what you need.
Definition, scope, and applicability.
Definition, scope, and applicability. Thank you for saying it. Those are the sections that you're looking for. The definition section and the section that talks about
Don't
scope
forget the
and
legislative
applicability.
intent.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's funny, bro. I just read that.
Yeah, the
shit.
legislative intent. The legislative intent. Yep.
Yeah, because on this one situation, the so-called debt is just going up and up and up, and the legal fee is going up and up and up. You know,
There's only one direction for fuckery to go into, guys.
Right,
Did you know
right.
that? It only goes one way.
I sent him a notice with the intent. Notice
I
of
think yeah, you can send notices, but you want to first send records requests. You want to go look for that legislative intent, applicability, and scope, and things like that of the property code. And that is what you want to use to communicate with them for records requests. They're supposed to have documentation for the property being in their corporate use or as a public school or another public building or whatever it's going to say in their definitions in the property code, because you will find that. And that's what you want to communicate and ask for records to support. And if they tell you that they cannot find records that support those things, then you want to ask them to do whatever you wish for them to do. For example, take the property off of the business privilege tax roll, or delete the account completely from the public tax record, or seal it, or whatever it is that you wish. You got to let them know, and then let them know if they do not fulfill your wishes, you are willing to prosecute them for the things that, like I mentioned in my notice to the judges.
Okay. And none of this should be by phone, right? It should all be like written.
I'm not going to say none of it shall be by phone, because sometimes you might need to make a phone call or something like that to find out something. However, if you need to use it in a case, but you don't have it in writing, what are you going to use as your evidence?
Right. So emails are okay.
To me, long as you have documented sending and receipts,
Right.
you're good.
All right, I just feel a little overwhelmed and a little babyfied here, but
It's okay.
my wings are starting to grow just a
Yeah,
little
get the
bit.
property code. You're gonna get so strong once you
Yeah.
start seeing their legislative intent, their applicability. I'm telling you, this is how everything is beat. They tried to charge our friend Sean with something under the penal code in California, and the general provision section of the Penal Code of California says that they're implementing 3 acts, and 2 of them are some type of business professional. All 3 of them actually are a business professional code, which again confirms that you have to be operating in at least a business, and more specifically, one of those 3 acts, the business is controlled by one of those 3 acts, in order for them to have a, what do you call it, probable cause.
Mhm.
See? So
Well,
that's the you will get the strength when you go and read their scope and powers of authority yourself, because everybody that goes to look up what the sheriff can do and what the cops can do, they're always like, is this it? Because
wow.
they seem to be doing all this other stuff over here. Is this all they got? And yes, that's it.
Well, when I got your message to look up the codes, the first thing was it had to be a property under $10,000 for them to 10,000 for them to put it up for sale,
See?
or between 10,000 and 25,000.
That's talking about the personal property value. That's not even talking about the so-called real property value, right?
Right.
Is personal, right? So that's the computer, the lamps, the
But it's
desks
empty.
inside the building, the register. Okay, that's what has to be the under 10,000 or whatever. It's not even the building itself, or So that's what you'll find once you do that research in that direction. Okay,
Okay, thanks a lot.
you're
Thanks a lot.
welcome. Glad to help. All
Peace.
right, guys.
Believe
So I'm gonna
fly.
stop the recording here.